All right. Good morning. Oh, someone who was here is now gone. All right. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you, Peggy. It's been a while. Oh, I can't hear you. In fact, you're not muted actually, Peggy, but your sound is really, really low. Just see, maybe raise your volume or something like that.
Where am I?
Barely. I hear you like a thin little reed of a voice. Who else is speaking? Sarah, is that you?
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, I
Hi,
can.
I'm trying to figure this out. Okay.
Yeah, Sarah, I can hear. And hi, Shelley. How are you?
Busy. Actually, this is her husband. She'll be on. She's just over here doing something. Here she is.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, Shelley. Well,
Hi.
and by the way, that was just a lot of times people have the name of their spouse, but they're using the same one. But in your case, it wasn't you, so that's great. Hi,
Okay.
Mark. How are
Hi.
you?
Good, real good, thank you.
Now I need to figure out Peggy's sound isn't working well. Can you speak again, Peggy? No, and I heard, now I didn't hear anything before. I heard the thinnest of sounds, but now I hear nothing. So give that a try again. Meanwhile, I'm gonna connect
What
with my
is he
other
on screen?
computer.
So how do we do that? Oh, she's going to teach us that, right?
Okay, so I'm checking in right now with here we go, checking in with Peggy. Do you see the little microphone on the bottom left? Click on that. Oh, see, I can barely hear you. It seems like a microphone that's not working. Are you on the computer's microphone, or do you have a headset of some type like I do?
Uh-oh, what happened?
All right. So let's see.
Uh-oh. I can't see you now.
Hmm.
All right. So I'm just trying to get let me hold on.
Okay, there we are.
There we go. All right. So I'm going to mute you for a second there, Shelley, because I'm trying to hear trying to get the sound corrected. So give me a second, everyone. This is the whole time when we make sure that everyone's Zoom is setting up and working. And so I need to make sure that we have okay. So when you go to that little arrow next to the microphone, you could have said leave computer audio maybe, and then turn it on again. Otherwise, go to a bit higher up where you have the speakers, the settings. You can click on settings, and then you can turn on the speaker settings and test your microphone there. Let's see, from the bottom up, you can test speaker and microphone. You see that it's like the fourth choice up.
Right.
Click on, and then the first thing that comes up for me there is test your speaker, and then there's a subset, and you get your microphone, and then you can hear yourself.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Okay, I'm gonna greet everyone else while you keep working on that. There's if I had no voice, I'd know some other way to fix it, but since I hear a teensy little bit down in the background there, it seems to me that it's like
In my machine.
oh wait, say that was a bit better.
It was in my machine.
Okay,
Does that sound
better? Still low, but I can make out what you're saying, whereas before I couldn't. So worst case scenario, there it is, right? All right. Okay. So hi everyone. How's it going?
Good.
So let's see who's here. Mark and Shelley, Peggy, and Sarah. Nice to see you all. Nice to meet you all. And yeah, so I'm your Photoshop teacher, but we're not going to talk Photoshop yet. We're going to talk getting all of this handled and a couple other how to get the application, that kind of thing first before we actually launch into learning how to use the application, right? So I need to hold on. Okay, so I lost my,
Diana,
yes.
I'm gonna have to leave soon because my kid has a volleyball tryout at DP. It's really important, but I'll try to log back in after 10, okay? Just
Okay.
a heads up. I wasn't able to email you.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Send an email
So
right
thanks
now.
for telling me that. And yeah, so let me just quickly run you through the 3 more important pointers of the before,
Yeah.
you know, the next hour. Do you have the application? Do you have
Yeah, I'm aware of
Photoshop?
how to do and log in and Photoshop and everything will be, yeah,
But do you
I have
own
the
it? It's in your
application.
computer. You have it. And
Yeah.
do you have Bridge?
I do.
Okay, good. If it's downloaded and you have Bridge, then good.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the most important thing because I'm going to spend quite a bit of time otherwise doing BDI and stuff like that. And then the other question, and now it's for everyone, and then and when you need to leave, you can leave. But now what I'm asking is for everyone. Look at the bottom bar of the Zoom, and as you go from left to right, do you see towards the right, like, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th in of the little icons, do you see one that has a smiley face? That's your reactions. It says reactions.
Yeah.
Okay, so down there, click on that reactions and then click on the check mark, the green check mark, and that kind of means yes. All right, awesome. If you can't find it or it's hard to see, I can give you some more indications. I'll wait until you tell me that you need another hand. Okay, there you go. Cool. So now Shelley must have clicked on it again because it turned off. So go ahead and when you click on it, notice that if you click on it again, it turns off. So if you want to change your mind because you meant to say no, now go ahead and say no by clicking on the red one. And the red check, the red X means no. And I'm going to be using these a ton during class. When everyone is here, I'll be saying things like, if you're a Mac, say yes. If you're a PC, say no. And it doesn't really mean yes or no. It just means I need to see the group divided, right? And so this kind of stays on and helps me. But most importantly, I'll be teaching you something. I'll be showing, I'll be demonstrating something. And then I'll say, oh, let me let some people in, hold on. And then I'll say something like, okay, I've demoed it a few times, now you guys do it. And then I'll say, okay, if you've accomplished this successfully, like you're ready to go, please give me a yes. If you're stuck by something and you couldn't do this, give me a no, right? And then I'll approach people and I'll say, okay, so Sarah, let's see, you said no, what's happening? How can I help you? Right? And that kind of thing. So when I say, tell me yes or no, I really mean it. Like I need everyone to say yes or no. Otherwise I have to ask everyone one by one. So Sarah, are you done? Shelley, are you done? Molly, are done? But if you all just kind of give me yeses or nos, it works. Now, sometimes though, it's not as easy to find. For example, when I share my screen. So right now I'm going to share my screen and there you go. What if you can at this point still see the yes or the no, please give me a yes. And if you can't see it, give me a no, which means that some of you will have to change. Okay, so if you found your reactions, give me a yes. All right. Hi, Clark, nice to see you.
Hi.
I heard, I got your message about getting the application. So, but I also got a message from the IT support that they fixed the problem for the 4 students who couldn't get in. Okay,
Yeah,
so if you need to get in, you should be able to.
I'm on Photoshop right now.
Oh, you got it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's
But I
great.
can't even find, this is,
You can't find the yes?
I can't find my name on the, like, I can't do anything with yeah,
With Photoshop or Zoom?
just Zoom, yeah.
Zoom. Okay, so yeah, when I share my screen, another thing that happens is that it fills your screen, right? Like boom, suddenly my VDI instructions are probably filling your screen. So this isn't going to work for this class because you need to be able to see
Yeah.
my instructions
Yeah, I got
and
that.
then do it yourself. Yeah, I'm talking
I
to the
got
whole
that.
group now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Talking to the whole group, Clark, because you did this part already. Clark is in my Illustrator class, and so he went through this portion. But there's 4 new students that I'm kind
Got
of
it.
walking through this right now. So so the first thing you need to do is hit your escape key from your keyboard. Escape on your keyboard, which is your top left key of your keyboard. That's called ESC. Okay, click on escape. That's the first thing you need to do. Now, first, for all of you that did nothing, for some of you that resized your screen, but for a lot of you, it did nothing. Now it's a hand process where now you need to grab that window, my window, right? The one that says VDI instructions. And from the very edge of it, grab one corner when it turns into a little double-headed arrow and move it in so that it fills only half your screen. Does that make sense? Because on the other half, you're going to have to open Photoshop and you'll have to work and see me doing it and then you do it. See me do it
Sorry,
and
I
then you
have
do it.
to move right now. This is not, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So my screen, when I had done it before, and when I click the share screen again, you cannot start screen share while the
Oh,
other.
yeah.
person is
You don't
sharing.
have to share your screen yet. I'm sharing my screen, so you can't share your screen. That's not what
Oh,
I'm
I
talking
didn't
about.
mean to do, sorry.
Oh,
Forget
no,
it.
not a
Alright.
biggie. What you'll
Okay.
get is that
Okay,
message.
no.
You'll get the computer.
Wrong tab.
Your messages are just going to say,
Okay,
you can't do it.
Fine.
So I don't see anything. You just get
Alright.
told you can't do it. But no, what I'm saying right now is not for VDI. What I'm saying right now is for everyone. I'm just sharing a VDI screen. Let me stop. I could be sharing anything. I could be sharing a basic screen. I happened to be sharing VDI, right? So it was just for me to show you something. I could be showing you the news. I don't care. Let me just open this window, like the basic window. My point is that what you are seeing is how I'm going to be demonstrating things. For example, I might be at some point showing you these instructions, but if you're seeing that on your entire screen, then you can't work on it yourself. So you need to move me and whatever I'm sharing into being only half of your screen, so that on the other half, you can open your own Photoshop or browser or whatever it is that I need you to open up. So for example, go ahead and open your browser, and it can be, it could be Google or Chrome, Firefox, any browser that you are using. Open your own now, and then find a way to have half of your screen
Boom.
have your browser and the other half have Zoom. Okay. I'm going to stop my share for a second, and then you can, let me stop my share. There we go. So now I'm back to not sharing, but 99% of the class, I will be sharing my screen. You don't need to see my face. You need to see Photoshop, right? So, so I need to make sure that everyone has that handled. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to, you guys are not going to see me for a minute. I'm going to leave this and connect again. So I'm going to just be quiet for like 30 seconds or a minute because I have to fix a connection here. So give me a sec while you guys work on that.
Where's Zoom? There.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. I had to reconnect because some of the settings here were wrong and I wasn't going to be able to do some things I need to do. All right. Okay. So let me work on this again with you. First of all, oh, let me let some more people in to the class. Now, as you can tell, the first 30 minutes or so, people will be popping in at different times. And that's okay, because that's what I requested. But I might have to make sure that as I explain things, that everyone has these things handled, right? So for example, when I say, okay, have you been able to move your screen half and half? If you have, then give me a yes. If you haven't, then give me a no. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you join the class. I will be with you in just 1 second. Back to the group. So what I need you to do now is, if you can, I'm going to share my screen again. So actually, let me catch Karen up here for a second. Hi, Karen. Where you go? There you go. Hi. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Do you, what I'm explaining right now is some things about Zoom and how I need Zoom to happen. So I'm going to share a screen, and it's a browser screen. It's meaningless what I'm sharing. But what happened now that I shared my screen is basically my screen tends to take over your entire screen, right? So that doesn't work for this class, because you're going to have to keep seeing me, and you're going to have your own application opened on the side. Thus, you need to make space for me, right? So first thing you need to do is hit the escape key on your keyboard, and that kind of disconnects this big full screen. And then put your mouse on the screen where you see my big old Firefox screen that's in your way. Go to the very corner of it as best as you can. Put your mouse until you see it have a double-headed arrow, and then just drag it in, resize it so that only half of your screen is filled with me, and the other half should be filled with you. So open a browser, any browser, and put your browser on the side. So you should be seeing half the screen with me, with my Firefox, and the other half with your internet browser on whatever page it is. We're going to all go to SPCC in a minute, but go ahead and on your browser, make sure you have SPCC on the other side. So basically, I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let me give a better idea here. I'm going to put over here another window. And now I'm going to reshare my window. And what I have is 2 browsers, what I'm going to show you right now, because the only thing that's hard to do in this world is to share Zoom. So you cannot see my Zoom divided this way, but this is how your screen should look right now. I should be talking over here, right, to you. And on the right side, you should have a browser of your own. So see how you have half your screen with me? Sometimes you might want to make me a little bit smaller and you a little bit bigger so you can work better. But here I'm going to be demoing stuff. And here, this represents your computer. You're going to have to be doing the same thing. So if what I'm saying makes sense to you, then fine. If you still can't get it to happen, then I can help you one-on-one. But if it doesn't make sense to you what I'm saying at all, then let me know, and I can give you I can keep explaining this a little bit. So I'm seeing, Shelley, that you have your husband helping you. You mentioned he was your husband before, right? So
Actually, no,
has-
I am needing help. I'm sorry.
okay, that's great. So let me
So when you say I should see you on half the screen, you're talking about a little inset. I see you on a like
no. Let me hold on. Let me let someone in who's coming in, and then I'll explain myself better. I'm going to stop my share. All right. So in fact, I have a better idea of how to do this, I think, and a better way to show you this. So give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and kind of, 1 second. I'm setting this up in a way that might be a bit easier for you to imagine that this is me. So hold on.
okay, just a moment for me as well.
Yeah. And now I'm going to say hi to Rachel. Hi, Rachel. How are you? I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself for a
Hello.
second? Oh, there you go. Perfect. Hi, nice to meet you. So I'm trying to show everyone how to use Zoom for this class, right? And one of the things that I said a bit earlier, a few people were here when I said that, is that I'm going to be showing you some steps. And what I need you to do is, if you've completed that step and it's worked for you and you're good to go, I need you to give me a check mark, the green check mark from the reactions button. And if you're not okay and you have a question, like right now, for example, Shelley had a question. So then you need to give me a little red no. That way I know who to support and who to help, right? So you just didn't hear my request, but everyone else knows that I was asking about, have you been able to separate your screen into two parts? I'll explain it again in a second because there's more need for explanation. But those of you who have been successful with doing that step, can you please say yes? Right? So like Peggy gave me a yes. Now, for you to know where you're saying yes, do you see your reactions buttons? At the very bottom, you see your mute and unmute. I know you unmuted yourself, so you know where it is. Now, keeping going to the right, and if you go far enough, you should see a little smiley face that says reactions.
Right.
Right? At the very bottom with all the buttons. If you see that, then say yes. Okay, cool. Well, in this case, say yes, because for this little step, you got it. Okay, now, stay in no because you haven't done the other step. So that's good. Now, Mark, oh, you've got your second computer on. Yes. First of all, 1 second, Shelley, I'm coming to you, but I want to show you one thing. See how we can see Mark? Say heart, do like this, Mark. That person's Mark, right? He's waving. Another window down there has a big old W, and that also says Mark, right? So he's in with two computers. That's your best bet. That if you have another computer in your house, for example, or an iPad, like another device, then it's easier to do that. So I don't know, Shelley, if perchance you have some other way to communicate and connect, then you can connect twice, and that will be much easier for everyone, not just Shelley. I was just talking to Shelley for a second because this is where on one screen you watch me do everything, and on the other screen you open Photoshop and work in Photoshop, right? So if you have that, yay, Mark is doing that. I know that as people come in, other people will do that. But now I'm going to share my screen again, and don't do anything yet. I'm going to share my screen. And when I do so, this is a video of me. So this is a video of me explaining things. As you can see, it's I gave, I believe, yesterday or day before yesterday's class. When I share a screen over here, I will be showing you not my face. This is why I put this in here, because for some people it's hard to see that. But what I will be sharing is Photoshop. So your screen, okay, now. So this is a sample of what your screen should look like. On the left, this would be Zoom. Right now it's not, I can't share Zoom. So this would be Zoom. You got to resize your Zoom screen, which is now like humongous. You have to go touch the very far corners with your, first hit the escape key, by the way, because I haven't said that yet to right now. And maybe Rachel doesn't know that. First hit your escape key. Once you've hit your escape key, you can put your hand right at the very end like that. See, my mouse is way over here. Wait, and then click and drag and make that be half the size of your screen. So if your entire screen is this, make this be half the size. And then on the other side, you will open up, in this case, I asked you open a browser window and then go to SBCC, because we're going to go to sbcc.edu. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to be on sbcc.edu right here. This is how it's going to look, right? I'm going to be on sbcc.edu and you're going to be on sbcc.edu. Then I'm going to say, okay, click on pipeline, and you're going to click on pipeline, right? So this would be you, this would be me. Then I'll say, okay, sign in, and you'll sign in, right? When this is Photoshop, I'll show you a step in Photoshop and you'll do a step in Photoshop. So that's how your screen needs to be set up in order to work parallel with me. Okay. Now that is when you walked in, Rachel, where that's where I was beginning to help people individually to do this. So now, if you've accomplished this step because you happen to know it, because you've taken a class before, or because you don't need it, like Mark, give me a good old yes. If you haven't accomplished this step and you need support from me, I know Shelley was needing that, and I don't know, Rachel, how you're doing, then give me a no. And right now I'm going to check in with both of you. But the best thing for me to do is to see a big old no. And then I know that after I help one person, I'll go to the next person. Okay. So Rachel, if you haven't been able to move my screen around, then you need to say no. And same with Shelley. Now, some people are coming in again, because this is the time for more people to come in, but they don't know how to do this. I'm gonna let them in, but I'm gonna have to repeat it a little bit. This, but first I'm gonna stop and try to help Shelley, because I've told her for a little bit that I'll be helping her. And then I keep letting people in. All right. So, oh, okay. So I see that Shelley says we're working on employing a second monitor. Okay, great. That actually is going to be one of your best solutions. Okay. And let me say that what Mark did is have two separate computers. Maybe one's an iPad, maybe there's two laptops, maybe one's a desktop, one's a laptop. That's two connections. That's great. Plan B is what Shelley is saying, which is connect a second monitor to your same computer. It's just a second cable. Like I have 3 monitors in front of me right now, and they're all just connected into my computer. If you do that, then you see me on one computer and you do the work on the other one, right? So that's the second option or second choice. The third choice is what I was saying before, which is divide your screen in half. So let me welcome Scott for a minute. Hi, Scott. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Shelley's husband. I'm sitting right next to her with a different computer.
Oh, there you go. I thought the last name looked similar.
There aren't
That's-
many of us out there.
That's great, though. That's great, because you're doing the same thing as she is, which is a second computer, which is what Mark's doing. And that's the best solution, actually. So perfect. Yeah, there you go. So now what's going to happen is that when I now say again, I'm going to say, okay, let's open, this browser window, and I'm going to share that with you, right? Then on your other computer, right, which is now going to be sitting doing nothing but having Zoom, you can open up your own browser, right? So are they near enough, though, for Shelley to be able to see both at the same time? Are the computers next to each other? Or are they, you know what, if you're saying something to me, I can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself. Sorry, I thought you were talking to your husband, but if you're needing to speak to me, okay.
Are you on mute? No, you should be on mute. Quit Zoom.
Yeah, quit Zoom.
Well, no, right now, Scott unmuted himself and Shelley didn't. So
Okay,
it
we're
doesn't mean,
switching-
as long as one sound is on, it doesn't matter which. because I can hear you through either one, right?
okay, there we go. We
So,
got it.
Oh, but
So
now,
no, Shelley's other computer is free to open up a browser and do the work. And
all
then
right,
Zoom-
but
then my
Shelley
computer is Zoom.
Shelley dropped out.
Right, she's using my computer now.
Oh, and you have 2 monitors on yours?
No, we have my computer with running Zoom, so we got that all connected, and then her other computer is available to do the exercises.
Yes, no, got it. But you should stay connected. You should stay connected. And
Oh,
you'll,
yeah.
and so right now she left. She's not in the course anymore. So on her computer, she should be connected as well, because a lot of times what's going to happen is you're going to run into trouble. And I'm going to say, okay, let me see your screen, right? And then I'm going to have her share, but that has to be the screen that's running Photoshop. Got it? So the way you were before, where you appeared twice, just like Mark appears twice, that's the best bet. And then, if I say, hey, Mark says, no, I can't do this. I first tried to explain. And then after explanation doesn't work, then I'll say, okay, share your screen. So that's the second step of what we're going to go through in this little big part of the morning, is teaching you how to share your screens so that I can support you one by one. So
Yep.
first, let me greet Javier. Hi, Javier. How are you? I saw you for a minute and I don't see you anymore, but
Yeah, I'm
welcome.
here. I'm here. Good
There you
morning,
go.
everyone.
Good morning. Welcome to the class. I know that Rachel has her hand up, but I want to show everyone how to do that, and then I'll answer Rachel's question. But I'm gonna stop my share now. And I want to make sure that everyone knows, because the same place that you got your yes, that's where you can raise your hand. And it's the bottom bar that raises your hand. So everyone say yes to me. No, say yes to me. Raise your hand. And I know, Rachel, you're the next one though. But everyone raise your hand if you see it. Now, Peggy, you're giving me a wonderful thumbs up, but that's not what I need right now. What I need is a raised hand. And the reason is because the clapping, the raised hands, all of those are really cute, but they disappear in 3 seconds. So I need you guys to, yeah, if you want to laugh or celebrate or send me a little thumbs up, awesome. But when I say raise your hand to ask me a question, that's the bottommost bar. There we go. So so that's the one I need. So Shelly, can you test on your computer that has Zoom to raise your hand? Great, same place where you said yes, the bottommost long button, that's raise your hand. Okay, cool. So there you go. So I don't know if you noticed that when I was when I said that, your position in the grill changed, you know, like suddenly Rachel is first. She was the first one to raise her hand. The second one to raise her hand was Mark. So boom, he's second. Then comes Clark and so on and so forth. So when you have questions, that's how it's going to work. You're going to raise your hand and I'll answer in order of, you know, who is waiting on the left of me. So now go ahead, since I know that Rachel actually did have a question. Everyone else can lower your hands, go to the same button, and now it says lower. And now, yes, Rachel.
I'm just not, I can see, I'm not sure that I divided my screen appropriately because I turned, when I added my chat's now like a third
Oh,
of the
yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I
so
can
hold
see
on
you,
for a
but
second.
you're like this big.
Yeah, so hold on a minute. What I need you to do, but now that you mentioned chat, and then I'll help you resize that, is that on the chat, notice that a couple of people asked me a questions. I'm going to say, hi, everyone. That place where I just said, hi, everyone, that's the chat. One thing I need everyone to do when you arrive is to say hi to me using the chat, not to me, to the class, good morning, whatever. That helps me attendance wise to make sure everyone is there. But it does hog up your space, right? So if you click on your chat button again, it'll disappear. So open it when you need it and then turn it, you know, off by clicking on the chat button again. So did that work?
Yeah.
Rachel, hit the chat button and then hit the chat button again.
I hit the wrong button because I hit the leave meeting button. Let me see where the chat button is.
It's
it's at the bottom. Okay, yeah, now it's gone.
It's gone, right? So if you guys have the chat on, it occupies a whole column on the side and you don't want that. And by the way, I just want to say, just so people don't get discouraged, this is the hardest part of the class, right? People who've been here from before, you know, Peggy, who's seen me do this 100 times, isn't this the hardest part always? So Shelly, everyone who's having a hard time, just get it. Setting up your screen is the only thing I can't actually demonstrate for you. So I have to do these like weird explanations in the air and hope that you capture it and read my mind and make it work, right? After this, it'll be step by step. I'll say, click on this, you'll see that, and you'll click on that, right? It'll be much more straightforward. But this is the part that I suffer through and you suffer through, and we all make it through. And then we go, yay, we can start with the class. All right. So if you're frustrated, you're probably in the very right place to be. We're going to make this work. But it's going to take a little bit longer to get everyone set up. For example, I haven't checked in with Javier yet. So give me a second. One more thing, Rachel and Javier, I need you guys to add your last name to your little window that has your name. Because for attendance purposes, the roster has to have your last name on it. So if you hover over the place that says your name, your face in the case of Rachel, or your name in the case of Javier, perfect. Click on the 3 little dots. Javier did it. And the 3 little dots that appear, one of the options when you click on that is rename. Perfect. Awesome. So now everyone has your names. Great. Now, Javier, what I was saying, and I need to get a confirmation from everyone, and that's the part where I'm not sure yet that everyone is a yes, is that when I share my screen, right, and I'm about to do that, I'm going to, first of all, open a browser, everyone. If you haven't yet, open a browser. A browser would be to access the internet, open whatever you use to access the internet. Best is if it's Google or Firefox, because some of you might need VDI. If you need VDI, you have to use Google or Firefox. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but for now, open whatever browser you use. Now, what you need to do now is move that browser to half of your screen and move me to the other half of your screen, okay? Now, if you have anything else on in your computer, some of you have a ton of programs up, I highly recommend you start quitting and exiting and leaving and closing. And I'm saying different words because for the PC is different than for the Mac. All the other programs that you might have open, okay? Because Photoshop is going to take a lot of, computer power. Zoom is going to take a lot of computer power. We just want to make sure that you don't have, tons of other stuff, and the internet is going to take up a lot of computer power. And I'm going to ask you to open the internet, and I've just asked you to open a web browser. So if you have, anything else behind there, or if you have a ton of tabs open on your browser, maybe consider closing some of them. So if you've managed to have me on one side and your browser on the other side, give me a yes. So I want you to have my little happy face. Wow, I'm me on one side. You won't see me often. You're going to see Photoshop, but right now you're seeing me. And then your own browser, parallel, and the same computer on the other side. I'm seeing yes, yes, yes. And Shelly, in your case, you are seeing me on one screen and then working on the other. So that's good. Now is the second test, which I think almost everyone has passed. I'm just checking in on Javier and Rachel. I'm going to share one screen in particular. Yeah, and this is when my screen is, boom, filling your screen. If you still need to, hold on, I need to clean out your answers. And I know, by the way, those of you who've said yes, like Mark and Clark and Peggy, I know you're fine with that, but I'm still checking in mainly with Rachel and Javier and making sure Shelly's comfortable with her two computers. I need you to now hit escape key if my window is covering yours, and then grab mine and make me smaller by grabbing me from the edges. And now you should be able to see both your browser and my browser again. So Rachel, if you're set up with that, give me a yes. Javier, if you're set up with that, give me a yes. You can see both. And then Shelly, if you're comfy that you can see me on one and you can see, you'll be able to work on the other and life is good, then also give me a yes. Okay. Rachel, since I don't see a yes, do you just not know how to click on a yes, which is possible when I share?
No,
or do
I
you-
just,
or do you
I
need
hit
help?
minimize and now I've got to move the browser back up.
Got it. But other than that, you've got it, right?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yay, that means I've gotten a yes from everyone. Cool. That is the goal. All right, I'm stopping my share. And now that I've gotten a yes from everyone, trust me, even though in my email I asked everyone to come at the beginning, some people have taken a lot of classes and they think, oh, okay, I've taken a class, I don't need to come until later. But they might have not taken a computer class where you need to see your screen in the half and the other. So there's going to be people who are going to filtering in the next few, minutes who will still need some support with this. So you might have to hear it again. But I think looking at the roster that this covers most of you guys who have not been with me in class before, okay? Or who barely, like Clark met me the other day. But Peggy on the other hand has been in my class before. So she's an old hat at this and is like, whoops, I got it. All right. So, and I teach many classes, right? So some people know me from all my other Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, that kind of thing. Or I also teach a lot of Mac classes and Excel, Word, I teach a ton of stuff. So who knows where you've seen me from. But when people come in later, they've met me. That doesn't mean that they met me in Photoshop. They've met me somewhere else and they don't need to see this whole explanation. All right. Now, the last thing I need to make sure you know how to do is share your screen. So imagine you're stuck. You are battling to do what I'm asking you to do. And I say, okay, give me a yes if if you made it work, and give me a no if you're struggling. Then I'll say, okay, so, Clark, what are you struggling with? And he might say, well, I tried this and it does not working. Many times I can walk you through it, talk you through it. I'll say, okay, and I'll point again to mine. I'll say, click on this thing, click on that thing, and that might solve it. But sometimes your screen has completely changed and you can't describe it. So I'll say, okay, share your screen with me so that I can help you, figure it out. And at that moment, you need to be able to share your screen with me. So if you have never shared your screen and you have a Mac, you're going to have to unlock some permissions. If you have a PC, the permissions are granted. So let's go ahead and make sure that everyone knows how to share their screen. So if you know how to share your screen, you got it, you've done it 25 dozen times because maybe you teach online some other thing, then give me a yes, you know how to do it. Everyone else, we're going to work on it. And like, for example, I just put Clark through this last week, last class, and stuff like that. But the rest of you, let's do a quick little check. So only because I'm seeing you top left, Rachel, can we test with you first? So go ahead and everyone, and there we go. Rachel's got it. She's sharing her screen. Awesome. Wonderful. So now you can, I'm going to stop your share, or you can stop your share either way, because at the top it says stop. But I can also say, okay, Rachel, I'll move on to someone else because you're going to be busy working in Photoshop, and I'll stop your share. Perfect. So now change your choice to a yes, Rachel. Mark, let's give it a try. I need you to share the screen that you'll be using Photoshop on, right? So you'll have to share the screen from whichever one you're going to be working on Photoshop, because that's the one I'm going to need to see. All right, awesome. That was wonderful. It worked. Now, for those of you who've never done it, it's 2 buttons, okay? First, you click the share screen, and then you click share again. So Shelly, do you want to give it a try? On the computer that you'll be working on with Photoshop. So first is the green share screen button, and then bottom right, a window will pop up, and bottom right of that, there's a little blue button with the letters, white letters that say share again. Okay, so it's 2 steps. Okay, and in order for me to hear how to help you, go ahead and ask me. And it's great that your husband is helping you, but unless he's going to be there every minute of the class, you need to start learning how to ask me for help, Shelly, because I doubt he's going to sit there every single Friday.
He's here.
It's okay, I'm retired.
He's
Oh, okay.
here,
Are you
but
going
I
to
don't
take
s-
the
oh
class as
God,
well?
it's a terrible echo. Oh, dear.
No, wait, why did you?
Yeah, there's an echo because both computers' sounds are on. So turn the sound off on the one that says Scott. Go ahead and turn the sound off on that one.
There
Okay,
we are, okay.
okay, so I don't see the share screen.
All right. So in the hover over wherever I'm talking at you, right? There's click on that because that'll bring Zoom up. And then in the same place where you just muted yourself or unmuted yourself, that if you keep moving to the right, you'll see a green word share screen, right?
Got it.
Okay, so click on share screen.
Okay,
Okay, and then another window popped up. That window on the bottom right, so go look to the right, there's a little blue button that says share in white letters. So your eyes should go to the right.
Oh, it says preferences.
It's far over to the right. And if you're not seeing what I'm seeing, then tell me, because did you click on the share screen button? The green
yes,
one.
hold on.
It didn't, it took us to settings so that we
Oh,
could.
so you're on a Mac. That's what I said. Permissions. Okay, but you need to tell me what you're seeing step by step. And this
Okay.
will be for Photoshop too. Then I can help you.
Okay,
So it says open system settings. You opened it. Good. Now,
yeah,
do you see in the middle of your screen, right side-ish, the word Zoom?
yes.
Okay, so you need to, if you're on a system
Oh, got
older
it.
than Ventura, you got to check on it. If not, you need to move the slider, but you're gonna have to type in your password to unlock your computer. So
Just a moment. I have a message that says Zoom may not be able to record the contents of.
that's okay. That's okay. It'll say, do it now or later. You got to say later. But see, you need to tell me what you're saying, because then I know exactly what to tell you to click, right? So if you see a message that says something weird, you need to read me that message, because then I'll know, okay, now do this, now do that, okay? So when I'm making you follow through certain steps, you need to tell me what you're seeing. And this is for everyone, because if you just see it and don't tell me, I'm waiting for you to do whatever you're going to do, right? So perfect. Yay, you're sharing your screen. Awesome. 100%. Everyone's got it. Let me see, Javier. You say yes, like you've done it, you've shared your screen, or is that a yes from before?
I know how to do it.
You know how to do it? Great. And that leaves us with Karen. Karen, can you attempt to share your screen, please? Perfect. You're doing it. Yay. All right. I'm going to stop your share, and we got it. Everyone knows how to share their screen. And by the way, whenever I ask you to share your screen, you might need you might need me to walk you through it again until it happens enough times that you got it under your belt. So that's fine. Great, but it's working, especially when you're on a Mac. That you need to do what Shelly did, which is give yourself all the permissions and all that the first time. That's it. From now on, you just share and it works. Okay. All right. So Linda's joining us now, and she's been through this many times, so we're fine there. And ready to go. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you again.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Okay. So, all right. Let me clear your answers. We're almost, well, we're done with all the Zoom stuff. That's all we needed to know about Zoom. Now comes who owns Photoshop? Who has a subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud? If you have a subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud, say yes with a little check mark. If you do not have a subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud, give me a no, a little red no. Okay. So there we go. So
I'm going to be buying one later today. So
you mentioned that. Yeah. So Clark was in my class on Monday, and I explained how to do it. But for those of you who don't have it today, I am going to show you two options. One is how to buy it for very, very cheap, which is what Clark decided to do after he took my class the other day. B, you can use a system called VDI, which is going to allow you to use the school's applications. Okay. And we're going to do that using the internet, using a web browser, which is why I asked you all to open a web browser. There's another reason I want you all to open a web browser, because I need you to know where to find the class files. So first of all, we're all going to go find the class files. Okay. Actually, no, because some people are still going to join us in a little bit. So they all need a class file. First, we're going to talk to the people who need VDI. Okay. So Linda, for example, has taken different of my Illustrator and Design, Photoshop, all those classes, and she's always used VDI. So it's possible to do it on VDI. That's why she's saying no. But oh, Shelly, I don't see your answer. Oh, it's there on it's on the other computer. But it isn't as simple. So Javier, I don't see a yes or a no on your case. Do you have a Creative Cloud, or yes? Okay, great. So Karen and Rachel, you're going to have to use VDI. So I'm going to, well, most of you have it. So this time I'll do it the other way around. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys where the class files are, all of that. And then I'll give everyone who has Photoshop a break while I help Karen and Rachel access the school VDI. So and Clark for today's class too. And then by the time everyone has been able to access it, that's going to take some signing in and stuff. Then after that, when we're all together again, then we'll start with actual Photoshop class. Okay. So first, I'm going to open I'm going to share right now my browser. Okay. And here it is. I went to my browser and just, typed sbcc.edu. Okay, so I need you guys to do that. Do sbcc.edu. There we go. And hit the return or enter, whichever way it takes you there. And I'm moving my browser a little bit. I'm going to change the browser that I'm going to share with you guys because I'm doing it on a different screen. Okay, there we go. All right. So now I'm going to say upset because this window pops up all the time of cookies, and then go over here to the old P on the left side that says pipeline and hit pipeline. Right. So now, once you see this pipeline, and this is for everyone, okay, no matter if you have or not the Photoshop, this is how to get to the class files. Also, you might have noticed that your class is being recorded. And so how to get to the class recordings that I'm going to post here so that you can review things. Anyway, so go ahead and put your pipeline username and password. Now, some of you are going to say, well, I don't know my password or I don't know my username. So if you are in that, I can give you your username, but I cannot give you your password. So if you have any doubts about this, I cannot help you, right? So that you're going to have to get help from the admissions, from the membership, and I can tell you where to go. But go ahead and sign in. As I said, if you need your username, I'm happy to provide that to you because that's in the roster. And if not, go ahead and sign in. And then when you're done, click login. And there we go. Now, some of you guys will see when you sign in a message right there that says that you need to sign in with two-factor authentication account management. So you might have seen it on that initial page, and if not, you will see it right here. This is new. This has started this semester. This was not, anyway, so it's the first time people have to do it. So even if you've used this for years, and if you've had, Photoshop in the pipeline account for years, in order to use VDI, you need to do it right now. And the rest of you guys are going to have to do it by the fall. So might as well do it right now as well, because they're switching the sign in to this secure process. So if you have VDI, for sure you need to do this, but because that's the only way you're going to access VDI to access Photoshop. Everyone else, I recommend you do it anyway, because we're going to have to go through it in another couple of months. All right. So first of all, I'm going to clear your answers because I'm going to have to do this step by step, and I need to make sure that you guys are with me on this one. If you've already set up your two-factor authentication, which I know, for example, Clark did it the other day. I'm sure Linda did it because you're one of the ones who warned me, hey, we have to do this now. So then, and you know how to get to the handouts, you're welcome to bow out for, the next 20 minutes or so. Go be busy, do something else. But if you haven't done it and you do need VDI.
Sorry, before I duck out, can I just share my screen real quick and be sure?
Yeah,
I'm at the
yeah,
place
and
where
I don't want you to
need
duck
to-
out yet either, because I
Okay.
don't know that you know how to access VDI. I need to make sure you know how to do that. I know you did it the other day and you were having issues. So go ahead and share your screen. By the way, he's been in my class, so he already knows that that's the best way to do things. To show me something, I see it, and then I can immediately help. All right, you've got VDI, you've got, okay, you're all set. Now, did you do the Google sign-in?
Yeah.
Google Drive sign-in? Okay, as long
I've
as you
got-
do the Google Drive sign-in, then go ahead and also open Bridge.
Yeah, I've
And
got
then-
that. I've got that.
No,
too.
not that one, not that one, not that one. In VDI, you need to do a Google sign-in. So
Oh,
give me a second, you guys, because that's fine. Leave that one minimized. You're going to be fine with that. I don't need you to sign in and Google there.
okay.
That's what I was about to explain to everyone, which is handouts. What you're asking me is the whole VDI thing, and I'm not there yet. So give me a
Okay.
second while I take everyone to what I am talking about right now, and then I'll walk you through this. So hang in a little bit longer, okay? So guys, what he was showing, he does not have Photoshop, but he was showing Photoshop, and that's because he's using VDI. So Rachel and Karen are going to have to do that. But first, everyone has to access the class handouts, right? So I'm going to have you guys come back here in a second to do the two-factor authentication. But to get to the class handouts, go to student and then student resources. Student and student resources. Click on that. Okay, now this is where I'll be asking you guys to constantly give me yes or no to make sure that you're all fine and not, gotten lost. So if you made it here and you're not here, like if I'm showing you this and you're not here yet, give me a no, or, in this case, there's few of us, you can raise your hands so I can help you get here. If you are here, give me a yes. Now, this is over here where it says class resources. This is our school Google Drive. This is your Pipeline Google Drive, not your own personal one, right? So let's click on Google Drive right here. And the initial page will take you to a blue selection over the word My Drive. And we do not need that. That is your My Drive. You might have things in here. You might have nothing. I have a ton of things in here. You might see a big old, hey, welcome to, Pipeline, get started, because you might have never used your Pipeline Google Drive, your school Google Drive. For now, we're going to ignore that. Where I want to take you is one down here on the left to shared drives, right there. And then under shared drives, you should see a little box with this guy, which is the Photoshop shared drive. If you see the Photoshop shared drive, go ahead and double click and go in, then give me yes. If I've left you behind at some point and you have no idea where I am or something is not working, say no. All right, so this is the Photoshop shared drive. These are the class files, and there's a bunch of stuff in here that I'm going to show you, but now I need to make sure you made it here. I can walk you through the entire step again. Okay, so I'm seeing over there. If I don't see a yes or a no, I don't know what to do, right? So I can see, for example, that Shelly needs my support, but I don't know, for example, Rachel, perfect. And Mark, you're on the other one. Okay, so Shelly, where did I leave you? Did you make it to this page, or are you still in the sign-in page? Because I think you're looking for your password, right?
Just a moment. I got this echo thing. Okay, now what?
I think you were looking for your password.
Yes.
All right, did you find it?
No, it worked earlier this morning. I don't know where I am.
So are you still in the SBCC window?
Yes.
This one?
No, the
Or
next screen.
the
I
next
did
one?
select Pipeline.
Got it. So the next screen, and I'm going to sign out so that you can see it. Hi, Saul. Nice to see you. Nice. I can barely hear you though, so maybe get yourself a little bit louder or nearer to the microphone.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hi. So Saul also is an old hat at this. He also uses VDI. Saul, did you know about the two-factor authentication? Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it.
You did it. All right, cool. So now let me just support Shelly through this, but I can't support you through getting your password. So try to type it again. A lot of people sometimes might have put a space here before the password and it shows up like an icon, and then you put your password and then it keeps saying, nope, nope. You have 5 strikes, right? So make sure to have no space, like hit your backwards pass, and then try it again with, the correct uppercases and all that kind of things, and then say log in. But if that's not working, I really can't do anything about your password. So I can send you right now to the tech support because it opens at 10 and it's now 10 a.m. and they can help you recover it.
Okay, it's not working.
Okay, so just to confirm confirm, do you have the right username? And let me check on what your username is, because sometimes that is the issue. So I'm looking over here. Myers, oh, well, it's SS Myers 1.
Correct.
It's correct. You got that one right. Okay,
Yeah.
SS Myers 1. Okay, so then if the password, you have typed it in a few times and it's not working, don't keep trying too much more because you're gonna get locked out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put here, show you my email. In the email that I sent you, to set up the account, right? So let me go find it, the one that said, welcome to, I need to find it now. Let me go to my sent. When I said, welcome to Photoshop. Okay, so here's that email. And hi, everyone. And I said, read all the way to the bottom. Hopefully you all recognize this email. Way at the bottom of it, way at the bottom of it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Then where it says online Zoom and SPCC student tech support, right? Keep going, keep going. And the last thing that this says is, if you can use Zoom but need more tech support to take these classes, you can join student tech support session. They also can help you with a password. They can help you with Zoom. They can help you with other stuff. So find the email that I sent you, and then you have to leave this class, right? Leave the class for a little bit, join, click this link, have them help you figure out what's up with your password, and then join the class again, and I'll let you in. Okay.
Okay.
So, and you can, since you have two computers, you can just do it on one computer, and on the side, you can keep listening to me while they help you, because sometimes they're helping someone else and they take a while to answer. And then on the other side, you can be, getting onto VDI. But you don't need VDI because you've got your own computer. So this is a good time. While I teach people VDI, it's a good time for you to do this. All right. So go
Okay.
ahead and on one of your computers, say leave, and then open my email and click on this link, and you'll be on Zoom with the people who can help you with your password. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Rachel, your hand is up. Hi, Sue. Nice
Hi.
to see you.
I didn't get the welcome to Photoshop email. I don't know if it's because my Gmail account's having issues, but I maybe send it to my Pipeline account, or I don't know
Well,
what to do.
okay, so what I do is I send it to both your Pipeline account, and I send it also to your personal email, but it would be the email that you have given to school. So it might be that you didn't give it to school. I don't know. You might have given them the wrong one or something like that. So in order to find your school email, you're in the right spot, because hold on, because since I did this 3 times, it's beginning to, what's that? Oh, so here's how you get to your school email. You will go to your portal.
You're just hitting the back button a bunch of times.
No. I'm just having an issue here because I'm already signed in, and I signed out 3 times to demo this, and it's beginning to get suspicious that I'm not me. So give me a
Okay,
second.
so
I have to.
I just clicked the tab where it's the student or.
Yeah, so you're fine. I just did it so many times that I'm not. So when you're in this one, do you see up here that it says email?
Hold on just a second. Let me click student again. Nope. Home.
No, if you are in Google already, this is not going to work. You
Yeah,
have
I'm in Google already, and I've already pulled
All
up
right.
the drive and the shared drives.
Okay, so great. So then open a new tab and go back to SPCC, because you need to be in this page. You might have it open as a tab, but if you don't have it open as a tab, you need to find the one that says Home Pipeline, or you need to create a new tab and go back to SPCC Pipeline. You won't have to sign in because you're already signed in, right? This is for everyone, by the way. Rachel's trying to find her Pipeline Gmail. So if you don't know that, you all have a school email address, and some of you guys have used it, fine, but others have never used your school email. If so, I'm showing you where to get to the school email. So right here, I had told you to go to student and student resources. Well, the first page before you go anywhere, over here, you'll see a link to your email. But you need to
Oh,
get
okay.
to this page first, right? So
And
did you
click
get
that.
there?
Yeah. Okay.
And then, so if you didn't get my email, how did you know how, the Zoom link to sign in?
I have a handy friend, Peggy, and I'm like, it was a call. It was so
Oh.
old fashioned. I'm like, just is this class happening? What's happening?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's, I'm looking at your name and I think you're right. We do not have your, no, I do have your Gmail. It's your name dot your last name at gmail.com.
Yeah, it
So
was weird because I got like one email from you. And then prior to that, I got the email on Illustrator on Monday, but I have got nothing in between.
well, then I don't know what's up because, you know, but do you have it here in the email here?
And where do you see it here? So here it looks like
It doesn't matter because you don't
Mm.
need it, but I can
Yeah.
also give you the Zoom link again, but I do want to make sure that you know how to.
oh, I see. Okay, so Zoom
Okay.
link for today's first Photoshop class.
There it is, okay? All right,
Okay.
cool, you found it. Okay,
All right.
so everyone else, you should be here in the shared drives. So you open up Photoshop shared drive and let me ask you to two things. Everyone who said yes that they have Photoshop in their computer, that is most of you except for Karen and Rachel, you need to find this folder that says Summer 2023 Download Photoshop Class Files. And you need to click on these three little dots and download the class files, okay? This is for everyone who has their own computer application. So once again, some of you might be seeing this kind of in a different mode. I'm going to make this a bit smaller so you can see. Some of you might be seeing this like this, like list like that. If you're not seeing this folder here that says Summer 2023, let me know. But if you're seeing it, and people who've taken this class before, I have many different new files. So please download it again and get rid of the old one. So let's everyone download this folder. And when you download it, it'll be a zipped file. It'll be a zipped file because there's many files in there and you're going to have to unzip it or extract it before we can use them. Okay. Yes, Clark. By the way, you need to download it too, because when you do install your Photoshop, you're going to need these files. Okay, Clark, in case that's the question. But other than that, yeah, what's your question?
My question is, I'm on that folder that says summer 2023.
Yeah.
It's not giving me any dots.
All right, well then right click, and the same thing appears, download. Okay, does that work? Right click on it and download.
Then it just gives me all the files.
No, if you double click on it, it gives you all the files. If you are here, you need to back up. You need to go back here to Photoshop shared drive or click your back arrow, because you need to then capture this folder and right click on it. Okay. And if you need a hand, you can share your screen.
When you say right click on a Mac, what is that?
Okay, thank you. For some people, the right click doesn't work if you're on a Mac unless you've set it up. So if you are, do you have a mouse or do you have a laptop?
I have a laptop.
Okay, a laptop, a right click is two fingers down, fingers down. But if it still doesn't work, I need to help you set up. Okay, so then go ahead and I'm gonna share a different screen. Do you know how to open your system preferences?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and open.
For the Mac or for the Safari or
for Mac. Mhm. You're gonna have to enable your right click. So are you on Ventura or what's your operating system, or are you on Monterey or Big Sur? Do you know?
I'm on
And you can find
Monterey.
Monterey. Okay, so then I'm going to share because I have both computers set up to share because things are different. So this is what the system preferences look like in Monterey. See that?
Uh-huh.
All right. So open your system preferences and then head down to where it says trackpad. Right there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And click on trackpad. And then you need to enable your secondary click, turn this on. And that's your right click.
Oh, okay. Great. And that's 2 fingers from now on. I
It's-
can.
yeah, yeah. And here they're doing a little demo of it. 2 fingers, it gives you that little drop down menu. Okay.
And then
So
do
now
I,
go,
then
go
do I
try-
press the bottom set up Bluetooth trackpad?
no, this is me. You don't have a
Okay.
Bluetooth trackpad. I do because I don't have a laptop. So I have a little floaty one right here, see, but I use it to demo when people have trackpads. So I
Great.
kind of have a little bit of everything that you guys have, and that's why I asked you.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. It says
It's
download
working now.
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now you've downloaded it. Okay. So the only ones who do not need to download this is people who will not purchase the application. Those of you who will not purchase the application, meaning you will use VDI, then you can, you will get them. The school already has the class files. Okay. So that's it. Now, as a quick aside, if you do want to purchase the application, it's going to cost you $40 for 6 months or $80 for a whole year.
Oh, wow.
Okay, which is ridiculously cheap, because if you purchase it through Photoshop, it'll cost you $20 a month. That's $240 a year, right?
Mhm.
As a student. If you purchase it as a private citizen, it'll cost you about $50 a month in Photoshop. So by saying $40 for 6 months or $80 a year is ridiculously cheap, and you can get that only if you go to collegebuys.edu, collegebuys.edu. And actually, it's changed. You actually go to shop.collegebuys.edu and hit return. Oh, I got that one wrong. Hold on, because it changed. Collegebuys.edu now takes you. What? Hold on. I think my computer's having some kind of a weird. Okay. I've taken people to this for eons, so I don't know what's happening. Collegebuys.org. I'm so sorry. It's collegebuys.org. My goodness, my brain. And that's why people never get it, because they keep writing edu. So that's my bad. Sorry. Shop at collegebuys.org. I'm going to put it here in the chat. I put the link in the chat. Okay. So if you click on the link that I just posted, you're going to end up in this page, collegebuys.org. And this is, I skipped over the one that makes you see the whole organization. It's a foundation for Santa Barbara, for California City Colleges. Okay. It's not like a weird place. This is real. But I skipped over that page because if you write only collegebuys.org, then you have to find this one. But if you write shop collegebuys.org, it takes you here. Okay. And then over here, you can purchase a bunch of different. Each time I come here, it takes me to a different page. This is weird. Now you're going to search here and write creative, or you can write Adobe Creative Cloud. That's the easiest one. Adobe Creative Cloud, and search in there. And here you go. If you're going to purchase the Adobe Creative Cloud, it's going to be $40 a month. I have no idea what it says 44. $40 a month. Click on that one. This is weird. This page has changed since 2 days ago. I showed it in Illustrator and it was the same page as always, and now it changed. Anyway, so here we go, collegebuys.org, Adobe Creative Cloud. And let me just say that and since most of the rest have it, let me just very cleanly ask just Karen and Rachel. Do you plan to buy it? I will explain you further. If you don't plan to buy it because you're just going to wait and see and use VDI, then I'll leave it here. And whenever you want to buy it, I can explain better. So can you just, Karen and Rachel?
I'm
What-
gonna buy it too from here.
Yeah, Clark, but you already said you would and you know how to do it. But I'm gonna say, I'm gonna clear your answers because I need to see Karen and Rachel. Where are they? Where's Rachel? Rachel, are you gonna at some point consider buying it? I'll show you how to do that. If not, so yeah, Karen. I see you
Hi,
unmuted.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know yet, but if I were to, I think I can access this and do it on my own. So you don't
All
have
right.
to walk me through it.
Got it. Well, but if so, then this is really crucial. You cannot use your personal email. You have to use your pipeline email address, right? It over here, it tells you I must use my edu, right? And you have to say that. And your edu email address, I'm going to write in here, is your username at pipeline.sbcc.edu. So I just put it in the chat. Oh, not pipeline, sorry. Username at pipeline.sbcc.edu. That's the way your email should be written. And most importantly, when you download it, when you pay it, it'll take 4 or 5 days. So like if you try to buy it the day of the class or the day before the class, it won't work. You have to try a week ahead. And then you can download it because you're going to get an email, but that email is going to go to your pipeline email, right? So Rachel, you need to know how to access your pipeline email, because in that pipeline email, they will send you the instructions on how to download it once they've checked that you are a student, because this price is only for California City College students. Once they check you're a student, they send you the instructions. And here's the key. When you install it, and this is going to happen, you know, for 3 to 5 to 7 days after you purchased it is when you're going to get that information. They're going to ask you if this is a personal or a school account. You need to say personal. That's where a lot of people mess up, because they say it's a school account because you bought it with Pipeline, and then it'll be so hard for you to access your applications. It'll be a mess. Some people, it takes a month to fix it. So that's the key. Most people will say school. You cannot say school. It'll be the process of installation. It'll say, is this a school or a personal account? So make yourself a big note that says, if I buy it, say personal. But that will happen only when you install it. To buy it, you just need to use your Pipeline and wait for instructions that they'll send you how to install it. And they do say this in their instructions, but people don't seem to read instructions well. That's why I say it out loud many times to avoid lots of problems. Okay, so that's for people who are going to buy their applications. So as you can see, I'm trying to kind of go through all the choices. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you about the handouts. By now, everyone should have downloaded their files if they don't have, if they don't use VDI. And then I want to point you to the first file that's called Zoom class recordings. But at this point, it's much more than that. So I want you to double click on this file, because there's a lot of good information in this page. I find that since lots of people come to this page, I need you to be on top of it with what this page has. So first thing first, if you miss a class, right? And we only have 6 classes. So if you miss a class, you can do that, but you can't really miss much more than that. You can catch up by watching the class recording. And each day I will put a link here like this that will take you to the class recording. But sometimes you have to leave early or arrive late or something like that, so you can catch up. This recording is not today's because they still haven't finished the class, but this is an example. Will be a link to a video in YouTube. And what matters is that this is the entire recording. So it's a 3 hour and 15 recording, for example. I don't give you particular parts. It's the whole thing, right? So if you missed half an hour and you know the class starts at 9, then you know that you missed an hour because you arrived at 10. Then you can hover over this thing and wait until you see the number 1. It's like 1 hour in, and that's when you know, or if you were here for an hour and you left, then you can watch the recording on the rest of it and stuff like that. So use your time. Say that at you know, at 11:30, I say something that you go, oh, that's so important. That's amazing. I need to know this. I need to practice it. This didn't work. I need to hear this again. Whatever reason you need to review something at 11:30. Well, that means that's 2.5 hours into the class. So you come over here and you kind of look for 2.5 hours in. And then when it starts playing, it's going to play here at 2.5 hours in. So you don't have to sit through 3.5 hours of class. Got it? This, by the way, is a private account. You can only reach it if you have this link. So you don't worry about having yourself be on YouTube. No one's going to have it other than us who are in class, who are already seeing you. So that's what the recording is going to be. Now, there's a couple of other things I need you to have here. And one of them is everyone who's already set and has everything done, this is a good time to click on the class survey. Click on this class survey, open it up. And my request is, can you all please fill out this class survey? It's like, what's your experience? And most importantly, do you have a particular goal in mind? Are you working on a project? If you just want to learn because you want to learn, that's great. But if you want to learn because you have, you know, you're writing a book, or you're, you know, you have an exhibition of your oil paintings and you're trying to figure out how to scan in your photos and have them look good. Who knows? There's so many different reasons to use Photoshop. Please put that reason in there, and then I can help you. Maybe you just got a job and you have to handle someone's website. Whatever you need to do, this is going to, if you tell me what it is, I will be able to give you more specific help to whatever you happen to need. The last thing is the class Padlet. So everything I'm doing right now is setting up the class. Then we will launch into Photoshop. But the class Padlet right here is a place where you're going to post your work. So everyone, click on this class Padlet. You can keep finishing the form at any moment when I'm saying something you already know, and then go back and submit it. But meanwhile, let's come back here to this and let's click on the class Padlet. I'm going to actually put this link also on the chat so that everyone can get to it from the chat in case you're not here in the class handouts. Click on the class Padlet link, please. And let's go to the class Padlet. Now, the class Padlet is a website where you are going to be posting screenshots of your work, right? So what I'm trying to say is I need to see your work. Some of you will share your screen and thus I will see your work. But if you don't need me to help you with anything and you don't share your screen, then I have no idea what you're doing in class. So this class, by the way, is a pass, no pass class. You will get graded with pass, no pass, because it's part of a certificate. If you take all the certificates that are, the classes are in a certificate and you pass them, then you will get a digital design certificate from Santa Barbara City College. So I need to know that you're doing the work. You can't just passively look, watch recordings and do nothing, or I will not pass you. Another reason why you can't watch the recordings passively is because I will have to drop you from the class if you don't attend, because our school only gets, you know, the class is free for you, but the school has to pay me, for example, and many other people around here to give you this class. We get money from the government based on who attends class, not on who is registered. So if you only watch the recordings, I have to drop you. You can't watch the recordings. You need to do the work and be here present in class and show me that you're doing the work. So this is how you show me you're doing the work. So what's going to happen is during class, I'm going to go, and right now, I'm going to do that right now. So everyone right now is going to do their first screenshot to make sure that you made it to this point in class. I am going to ask you to do a screenshot of anything on your screen. In the future, it'll be a screenshot of your work in Photoshop, right? So you'll show me what you're up to. You'll show me the layers you're creating and stuff like that. Now, if you're on a Mac or on a PC, it's different instructions. So if you're on a Mac, how you do a screenshot, and you can either read later more instructions or you can look at the shortcut, right? So Shift, Command, and 4. So I'm going to hold down. This is Mac people. Shift key, Command key, and 4 I'm on a Mac, it makes my mouse turn into a crosshairs. So then I'm going to use that to drag it across an area that's my arts. Right now I'm dragging it over this, right? Once you let go, that's a screenshot that got sent to my desktop. For a PC, the shortcut is Shift Command, no, sorry, is the Windows key, Shift S. So you hold down the Windows key, you hold down your Shift and tap your S. And then you do the same thing. You drag across an area that you want to save, but on the PC, it stays as a clipboard copy. It copies it, pastes that thing into your clipboard, right? So now, Mac people have it on your desktop as a screenshot. PC people have it as a copied image. So now everyone is going to go down to this little plus sign right there that turns into a pencil once I hover over it. And you're going to click on that. And first things first, under subject, put your name. So right now, by the way, this is the first class assignment, so everyone should be doing this. First thing you do is put your name, because I will not, otherwise I will not know whose work it is, right? So the up in subject, you put your name. And then if you're on a PC, you just do a paste, Command V or right click paste, right? And then you can paste in your image. Mac people, you can, if you see it on the desktop, drag it in or click on this little first icon and then go to your desktop and select your screenshot and then say open, and the screenshot will appear over there, right? And then you can, when it matters, you might say, for example, clicked on yada yada to see layers, yada yada, adjustment, right? So you can put in instructions of what it is that you're doing here, and then you publish, right? So now Rachel and I have posted. Now I need everyone else in class to post their screenshots. And right now it doesn't matter what you screenshot. It can be a photo of your dog. It could be anything you want, but I'm just need to make sure that you are good with this process. Okay. And so there you go. Now I saw someone saying I could do this the other day, but let's see in the chat. I missed the first step, and today you're in the class files. Okay, so Clark, were you able to get to the Padlet? Were you able to click on the link that I said? And if you're in the Padlet, tell me if you're a Mac or a PC, and I'll remind you again how to do a screenshot.
Well, I'm Mac and I'm just looking for the file to even get to Padlet. I'm in
Well,
the
okay,
Photoshop.
so that's fine. So I put it in the, here, I'll copy it again. I just put it in the chat. So if you
Oh.
see my chat,
Okay.
the last thing I just posted it again, that's the
Yeah.
link to the Padlet.
Okay, got it. Thank
Yeah, because you guys can go find the Padlet from the link from the class files, which is what she was looking for, but I made it easy. I just put it in here.
Does this
Right.
Padlet's archive, the owner of the Padlet would need to unarchive it before you can.
Thanks, Karen, for letting me know. And yeah, you're gonna have to use VDI though, and I'm about to show how to use VDI, but if you have a call, that's fine. But then really quickly on here in my class files, I have a link telling you how to connect to VDI, okay? And you're gonna have to set up two-factor authentication if you haven't, so you'll have to do that. So anyway, just letting sure that you know that, because that's gonna be what I'm about to explain. When you come back, I can probably explain to you quickly, because looks like you're on top of it with computer things, so let me know when you come back. All right. Where are we? All right, the final thing now is to get Rachel and Karen, who just had to leave, onto VDI. So everyone else, now is the time that I'm just going to work with Rachel. If all goes well, it'll be 10 minutes. If not, check in 10 minutes. It might take a little bit longer. So go and do your thing for 10 minutes and it's your break time. Okay. Be back and set a timer or something like that. and be back at 10:40. It's 10:30. Okay. All right. So, all right, Rachel,
Yes.
let's do this. We need first, and Clark, by the way, because Clark, you already did, you're on VDI, so you're fine. And everyone else who's on VDI is good. All right. So, we have so many tabs open by now, and you probably have a little many tabs open right now.
Mhm.
So let me make sure that I'm gonna, let me close a bunch of this stuff because it'll be confusing for you. It'll be confusing for everyone. Just close a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna keep them open. But if you see this one open, anything open, close them because it just becomes more confusing. Just close them, including
Am I safe to
closing
close them all
class
or?
files, just about everything, yeah.
Okay.
I'm leaving this one open because I need to, but just, yeah, close everything. And now let's open a new one. Let me close it. And let's go again to sbcc.edu.
Just a second. Where am I? What's my name? comes up.
bcc.edu.
Okay, yeah, I'm there.
Cool. Now click on pipeline.
Pipeline. Okay.
You might already be signed in. See, like
I
I
am.
am,
Mhm.
right? So it doesn't need it. Now, do you know, have you set up two-factor authentication yet? Probably not.
I would say not properly, but I
Well,
have definitely made the attempt.
okay, so let's, well, but you did, when you say not properly,
Because there was a point where you said like, don't put in your Gmail account. And then I did.
yeah. Oh, okay.
And then I couldn't get
Well-
through. I couldn't get through to tech support. So that was
Well,
kinda-
no. To get to VDI, you don't put in your personal one, but for two-factor authentication, you do. So there's two separate sets of instructions. So let's see. Let's test it. Maybe you set it up correctly. So let's go to VDI. It'll tell us if you didn't. Okay, so
Okay.
let's do this. Click
Okay.
on another part, click on another tab,
Another time.
and then let's go to VM view, V like in base, virtual. Thank you. That's a good word, virtual. vmview.sbcc.edu. View as in what a great view we have today. vmview.sbcc.edu.
Okay, and it says VMware Horizon.
Cool. Yeah. So now this is what will tell us whether you set the two-factor correctly or not.
Mhm.
Click on this guy. And if you did set it up, you will get this. If you didn't set it up, you will get, you need to set this up. What did you get?
Yeah, there's stuff filled in.
All right. If this is what you got, then a one-time passcode will have been delivered, in my case, as a text. If you put in your text number, if you give your email, then it might be that it was sent to your Gmail. So go to your phone
Mhm.
and see, or go to your Gmail, whichever one you gave it,
Mhm.
and try that. So I just got it, 957-082. So I'm typing it in there. That was on my phone. And then I can continue.
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and say continue.
Yeah, I
because
sent it to my email, so I'm trying to
Got it.
find amongst all the emails where it is.
That's fine. Yeah, that's why I decided to send it to my phone because it was just much
Yeah, I
easier.
was just like, oh, okay. Let's try all email. Try search. And it'll say something like OTP or something, I remember, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Let's just try OTP.
Oh, I don't know who the email comes from. Probably OTP. The text just comes from a number. Yeah. So I don't know because I'm sending it to my phone.
So what does it say on your phone it's from? Does it say? Because I'm doing a search by all mailboxes to see if I can find it.
On my phone, well, it's just that for me, it arrives as a text number, so it doesn't say OTP. It just is. I just get a text. It says, "Here's your one-time passcode."
Oh, let me just try
957-082.
passcode. I'll just write passcode.
Okay, try passcode then. And then I recommend changing it to your phone.
Yeah.
It's much easier. to your phone number.
Yeah, it's not coming up there either. So,
Huh.
but I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon because I have an appointment. But I don't know. I could show up at 8 o'clock at Santa Barbara City College with the phone and be like, help. Because I actually showed up on Friday and didn't realize it wasn't open on Friday. There was
Yeah,
nobody
it's
there.
not, but you're
But I
almost
also
there.
signed up for your 9 a.m. Illustrator class.
Mm.
So
So you're gonna need this for Monday. So all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say is,
Mhm.
it's not that complicated to do this. Head back to your this thing, and then click on to FA account management, and over here, go ahead and switch to registered phones. Click on phones and put in your phone number. It's as simple as that. Then say submit or save, and then it'll start going to your phone.
you mean under registered phones or where were
Yeah.
you?
Click on
Okay.
registered phones. I'm not going to click on mine because then you'll see my personal phone number, and I try not to hand it out to people for
Yeah, and it's already got my phone number in there.
okay. So did you say save? Because
It's-
after you say save,
the action just says remove or add new phone.
okay, so maybe go in and remove your email address. Right? Go to your email and remove that one.
Under registered email address, the option is only change my email. And I've tried that a bunch of times without success.
Okay, well then go to multi-factor delivery methods.
Mhm.
And now over here,
Mhm.
it'll say whichever one it is that you default delivery method, and then change or reset from there.
Okay. So, here's what it says, OTP method. I can change that now to phone
Mhm.
and hit continue. Okay. Well, is that what I want? Well, it says
Well-
website, login, phone, and password reset phone.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you have to log out and exit the browser and open up again, because they have to see that you got it set up. So you need to close your browser. Okay, these are the steps.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
just
open again a browser and then click on
So don't-
vmview.sbcc.
normally I'm not on a PC. Do I just close the close button to log out? Is that what you mean?
Oh, but you're on a Mac right now or on a PC?
No, I'm on a PC. So to log out of the
To log out of the
browsers.
browser, the top X on the right on a
Oh,
PC
okay.
closes your browser, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now that's gone.
And then when you open your browser again, then
Mhm.
type vmview. I'm going to put the link in the chat, so you can just click on that link, and then hopefully this time it'll be sent to your phone.
Okay. Yeah, that would be promising.
Yep.
Okay. So where was I?
Go to the link that I just sent, or type vmview.sbcc.edu.
Okay, so now I'm back on like the Santa Barbara City College pipeline page where it says home and students.
Good.
And
So
then-
now open a new tab and write vmview.sbcc.edu.
And then the VMware Horizon HTML access.
Yep.
Okay.
And this time,
Oh,
hopefully,
and this time it has my phone. Okay, this is good.
and now type in the
continue.
number. Yay.
All right, let's see. Let's see how fast it can go. Oh, it's already there.
Yay. See, it's much easier to do it by phone.
Oh yeah.
Much easier.
8, 6, 3,
All
4,
right.
7.
There we go.
Do I not have my number lock on? Why isn't it not going in? Just
All
take
right.
the number.
So,
3.
hi, Karen. How are you again? So
Hi, thank you.
yeah, I'm glad you're back. And right now it's just us, just Rachel and I. Everyone else I gave a break so that we can connect to VDI. Okay. So everyone, although they're about to come back from break, and I'm going to tell them to take an extra 5 minutes, but I don't know, did you make it in, Rachel, with the numbers?
There's a big red box where it wants me to put in the code, but now it's just not letting the keyboard or whatever is not letting me type in the numbers. So I'm trying to figure out what happened.
Okay, so at this point, I might need to ask you to share your screen, but first let me catch up Karen, so she can go through the steps while you
Okay.
keep trying that. So Karen,
Just a second.
when you sign into your pipeline account,
minute.
which I believe you're probably still signed in, which I'm having trouble again. It'll, hold on, over here, you'll have your 2FA account management. When you're here, let me know, and then what you need to do is, I'll show you the instructions, but if you've seen this and you've turned it on, you should see this page.
I've already done the, I've already done that.
Oh, you did that piece. Okay, good. That's the
I
part
did.
that, perfect. So now you need to go to look at the chat. Oh, you just joined the chat, so you won't have it. Either type vmview.sbcc.edu, or I just put the link on to get to a page, not this one. I've already passed through it. But when you click on that link, you should be seeing there's like
It
two
says launch
sides,
native
agreeing
client.
to- yeah, so the right side, launch HTML.
Okay.
Now, for you, Karen and Rachel, but Rachel's doing something else, so she won't notice. In the future, if you're going to stay on VDI, you should go back outside of class and then download actually the application and open it through there, and it'll be much more stable. But just for today, do it this way. And then you'll be in this page. No, you'll be in the page where you need to do your two factors. So do that. Get your passcode, and then you'll be in this.
I'm on
page.
the same page as you. Yeah.
All right. So Rachel, what happened? Is Rachel still trying to put in her passcode?
Yeah, I got to that page where I had the passcode, and now
you
it
said
says
you-
second factor / one-time passcode.
So did you put in the code that
3.
you've got on your phone?
Whoop.
Karen, open your student desktop.
Oh wait, it's taking the numbers this time. Okay. Okay. It's waiting. No, it says authentication timed out. Well, at least we got farther along now.
The fact that it timed out is better than not doing it. So basically you just need to go back to the link,
Yeah.
sign in again, and then
Yeah.
this time do it, quickly, and then you'll get in.
Okay. Well, I've got to
And
go
it-
for today, but I'll watch the video to see where the
Okay.
class went.
Once you get inside, you're going to click on student desktop, and then yes, yeah. Okay.
Okay, great.
Watch the video after this, and we'll be set.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so Karen, you might have already gone through this blue piece, but when it
I'm on the same page as
finishes,
you.
you're gonna be, okay, so I have a question. Are you, your computer, are you a PC or a Mac?
I'm a Mac.
Okay, so when mine finally resolves, you'll see that it's a Windows machine. So
Yeah.
here's the only caution. Whenever I tell people, Mac people, this is the shortcut, Command D, and then I say PC people, Windows people, use Control D. For the purposes of VDI, you're a PC. So you're gonna have to do Control D. Does that make sense? Because you're
Yeah.
on a Windows machine. And that's the only part that gets confusing
Yes.
for Mac people, because they're like, wow. But yeah, you're for the duration of this class, you're a PC. So now go over to the start button, and we're going to open Bridge to start with. Oh wait, I'm forgetting one thing. I'm sorry. We have to wait until the Google Drive appears. So hold on. It's see how the little thing is still going. Once you get to this one, then you need to sign into Google Drive with your school pipeline. And a lot of people have an automatic where their personal Gmail appears, and this is where it messes up. So put in your school pipeline email address here, okay? And then go down to say next. And keep scrolling down and then say sign in. It's 2 steps before it finally lets you in. And then it'll finally say, yay, success, you've signed in. Then you don't need this window anymore. Okay, you can actually close this window. And you're set with VDI. And then the only thing left to do is to, when it says Google Drive is loading your files, you know you're ready to go. You'll say, okay. And now, yes, let's go down to the start button and scroll down until see Adobe Bridge. And we're gonna, there's one more thing you need to sign into. So tell me when you're here.
I'm there.
Okay, so when you click on Adobe Bridge, I will just have a Bridge open, but you will have another set of sign-ins where you, again, it's the Adobe Cloud sign-in, and this is one time only. Put in your pipeline username again, okay? Put in your pipeline, not username, entire username at pipeline.sbcc.edu, the whole email. And then you should be here. Once you're here, let me know. And okay, meanwhile, everyone else, ready for everyone to be back. So if you've been hanging out or waiting, we're all set. So please come back, show me sign of life, either turn on your videos or give me your good old, like, you know, hello, I'm here, thumbs up, or better yet, a yes, so that it stays there. Hoping to see signs of life from everyone. Sue, I know that you joined us when I was in the middle of helping people connect, but hopefully you've hung in there. Saul, all right, sign of life from almost everyone. Looks like Scott and Shelley are still having issues with the password because they have not come back. So I'm going to wait and see how this works out for them. Okay, so I have to all right, so I'm having an issue with the redrawing. Oh, Barbara came in. All right, there she is. All right, so I'm having, there we go. I'm into Bridge right now. All right, so everyone at home, open Bridge, and everyone on VDI, which right now, the only new person on VDI is Karen. Everyone else was on VDI right now, Linda and Saul, and everyone else. Go ahead and open up your Bridge. And we're gonna go and use Bridge. First of all, I'll explain what Bridge is, and then we're gonna go find our class files. So hi, Barbara, nice to see you. Go ahead and open Bridge, and you need to still download the class files though, because you don't have the new class files. So, but I know you know how to do this, so I'm gonna just tell you really quickly. Go to our class handouts and go to shared drives, open up Photoshop shared drives, and this is the new set, the summer 2023 download. Go ahead and right click on this thing and download the class files. Okay, can you do that on your own? Let me know when you're done, but I know you know how to do all this part. All right, good.
Bridge.
What's that?
Where are you finding Bridge?
So for VDI, where you find Bridge is same place as Photoshop. You're going to go hold on, because I'm renewing my share so that I can show I always show two versions. I show my bridge and I show, mine is, I'm a PC. And then VDI, no, I'm a Mac. My personal computer is a Mac and VDI is a PC. So how you open is go to the start button right here on the bottom left, the Windows button, and then scroll down until you see the word Adobe, all the Adobe versions appear here, and there's Adobe Bridge.
Hmm,
Okay, click on that.
Not
I
on
know
that,
that. What's that?
not on that page that you just showed. I've got so many windows open, it's like.
Yeah, so you already have Photoshop open. I know
Yeah.
because you had showed
Yeah,
me
yeah.
that.
Okay,
Right.
I have that.
So at the bottom, where you see Photoshop and this taskbar,
Mhm.
the bottom, same taskbar that says Photoshop, go all the way to the left, and this is the little Windows icon. Click on that one.
Um,
If you don't see that, it's easier for you to share your screen, and then I'll see. When you say you have so many windows open, that's worrying. You should only have one, right?
yeah, I'm-
So maybe you can share your screen and I can help you clarify and get rid of all the other stuff, because now we're going to start working and I need to make sure that you're there.
Okay, I'm in Photoshop, so now
Okay.
I'm figuring out these other things.
Oh, no, I'm seeing Scott is saying that they don't have technical support on Fridays. I forgot today's Fridays. I'm so sorry, Shelley and Scott, I sent you there. And I forgot that it's Friday. All right. That's a
Mm,
bummer. Okay, so
Okay.
Clark, share your
Yeah,
screen so that I
I'm
can help
here.
you, please.
Okay.
Do you need a hand reminding you how to share your screen?
No,
Can you, there it
no,
is, perfect. Okay, so let's do this. I don't know right now, it doesn't seem to me you have too many other windows open,
Oh, they're all down here.
but there, yeah, so what I recommend at the beginning is to just go to your dock and right click on any application. Can you go pull up your dock?
on
Okay.
any application.
Anything that has a dot, like, so go ahead and right click
Okay.
on the dot. No, on the icon on your desktop, right click there,
Mhm.
right click. You just two fingers down and say quit
Okay.
down at the bottom. Yeah, then go to Acrobat, which has a dot underneath it. If it has a dot, going down again to your dock. We're doing this all on your dock.
Okay.
Go over to your Acrobat, which is on the red, go to the right a little bit and right click on that and quit, and then keep going. Don't quit Zoom, of course, but keep going and get rid of anything else we're not using. Don't quit. Of
Don't
course,
do
your VDI, but Acrobat, right click and quit.
Okay.
There we go. So just don't, yeah,
Yeah, I've just been having some other thing. I've been trying to
yeah.
buy it.
Go-
and stuff.
Yeah, so go down to Safari, quit Safari, all that stuff, because otherwise, yes, it's really confusing, and especially with Zoom, you're
Okay.
gonna get like what's happening. All
Okay.
right, cool. Now you're ready to go, and this is the only thing that's happening. But Bridge, in your case, opened up, is gonna open up. So go up, go back to the very top. Yeah, and then there's Bridge, Adobe Bridge, like two down from where you were, so keep going down. Audition, that one. One up. That's
Okay.
Bridge. Click on that.
I was looking for the B word rather than. the
Yeah, because it's Adobe. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, okay, everyone. So here's one thing. If you're in VDI, or if you're on your own, when you're not with having to share screen with me, I highly recommend making your window fill your screen, and that's the best way, because you'll be able to I'm going to stop your share right now because you're right on track. Oh, this one's a weird one because this window on the appears to tell you what's new. Go to the top right and close it. So the one that says what's new, go down, down, down a bit more, and there's an X there. Keep going. No, when I say down, move your mouse down. Okay,
Well-
so move your mouse down a couple of inches now.
Okay.
There, and then to the right you have an X. keep going to the right. Now down, no, not that one down, that one. Perfect, click on that. Especially Mac users like you, it's weird where the X's are for the PC. So
Okay.
if you were to click on that X that was right above that, I said, no, 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 that would have closed your whole bridge, right? Because
Okay.
they close programs using that X. All right, I'm gonna stop your share because you're in the same place that I am and where you should be. And now we're gonna
Sorry
go
about
find
that.
class files. What?
Sorry.
So, guys, please don't ever apologize for questions or for being needing to be explained, because you know everyone here has been through that, and especially when you're on VDI, you're always going to have more questions because it's just a bit more funky of a system. So expect that being on VDI, you're going to have more questions, and then don't worry about it. That's fine. Sharing your screen is the fastest way to handle it though. So never hesitate to share your screen if I request you to, because as you saw, I just see what's happening, fix it, and then we continue. All right, so now I'm sharing mine. For people who are at home, you have downloaded the class files. So you need to go over here to the left side and look for your computer and open your Macintosh hard drive. Double click on that. You might also see your name. That takes you a little bit faster there. It's just that different computers are set up different ways. If you see your name, then you can just go look for your downloads. Now, for some of you guys, if you've never used Bridge, you might be getting a message. If you're a Mac user, that says, give access to Bridge to open your downloads. And you have to say yes. Macs are very careful with privacy, and they want to make sure that you are you and that you're given permission for this program to see your files, right? So you have to say yes to that. Otherwise, it'll block you out and you won't see the downloads. Once you see your downloads, double click on that. And then you're going to have over here, whatever's in your downloads. I have a lot of stuff. I need to clean it up. I actually teach people to not have a lot of stuff in here, but I happen to have a lot of stuff right now. And then you're going to go and find the folder that we just downloaded. Now I went ahead and downloaded what was the name of the file? I've done this so many times that I forget right now. Let me go for a second here to the file that we downloaded. Was called Summer 2023 download Photoshop class file. So that's what we're going to look for the word, a folder called Summer 2023. Again, some of you guys might have less stuff, but that's what we need. And this is just for people who are on on their own computers. So Karen and people on VDI, you have to go to Google Drive. I'll take you there in a second. All right, so I'm going to go to all my folders and go look for the summer one, which is right almost there. Summer Illustrator. No, where's my, let me search here for summer. I have so many. Did I download it? I think I did. I'm not sure. No, I probably, because I was showing you how to download it, but I probably didn't download it myself. Now, a plan B, what could happen is that you might need to expand it if it was not expanded. So it's down here and it's zipped, right? If so, I went over to the Finder and I unzipped it, double click. So if you see a little zip like that, it's because it's having to unzip, right? So anyway, that's just in case it was zipped. All right. So once you see the folder, Summer 2023 download Photoshop class files, don't open it yet. If you did open it, some of you did open it, say that you opened it, you need to back out. You need to go back to downloads, okay? Because you're going to go do that. And then you're going to go ahead and put it in your, right here, down here. You're going to drag it. You're going to drag it down to here and let go. See? That's it. That way you don't have to search for it ever again. You just click on that and you're ready to go. That's the class files. If you've been able to accomplish that and you're good with this, say yes. If you can't find your files and your downloads, if something's happening, whatever it is that's happening, say no. And I'll help you. Now, meanwhile, VDI people, it's a bit different. In VDI people, you do need to go to this PC. And then find Google Drive. So this would be, you know, Karen and, well, Rachel, who's not here, but Rachel, when you watch this recording. And then over here, you're going to go to shared drives where the class files are. And in this case, you're not going to work. Well, anyway, let's find the Photoshop class files, which I have a ton. You should have only one. Photoshop shared drives. Open it up. But before you open, it takes a minute. Once you get to the class files, it'll take a minute, like it's taking to redraw. Now it's coming in, but this is important. Don't open the folder of the class files yet. Here's my folder, Summer 23 download class files. Don't open it yet. Do a copy either with your shortcuts or right click copy, because your shortcuts are going to be different because you're on a PC, if you're in a Mac. So just the easiest way is to right click and copy right now so that your computer understands you're trying to copy. If you're a PC, it works, but if you're a Mac, it might not get your shortcut. Copy this folder. Then up here, go back to Google Drive. Choose My Drive. And now you're in your personal drive. So this is where you're going to paste. So I'm going to do a right click and paste. So now your files from the shared drive are going to go into your Google Drive. And there you go. Once this finishes, you will have the class files in your personal Google Drive. And then you're going to grab it and put it here, just like we did before. So give me a sec. And Clark, I know that you didn't do this because it wasn't opening for you on Monday. So this is the step that you would need to do for VDI.
Yeah, so it signed me out, and so I had to re-sign back in. And I've got all my files. I'll just share my screen again. So.
All right, let me just say one last thing. Hold on, don't share yet. Grab that folder that you just copied and drag it out here. Okay, so now click on this, and here you have your class files. This was all for VDI. If I lost you at any of that parts, basically, first you go to shared drives, find it, copy it, then you go to My Drive, paste it. Now it's on your My Drive. If you need help with that, let me know. I'm going to stop my share so that Clark can share his screen. Okay, go ahead, Clark. Share your screen. I'm gonna clean your feedback, and now I want everyone, VDI or not VDI, we're ready to get going. So first I need to see a yes from everyone that you have access to class files through Bridge and you are ready to go. Doesn't matter if you're VDI or if you're not VDI, I need to know that this is working, okay? So let's go over here and yeah, I'm seeing you.
I don't
So,
even.
okay, so go and click on.
There's my
Okay.
files.
All right, so you don't need those. Those are for when you install Photoshop. So close your files. Once you install Photoshop, you'll need this, but you don't now. You're now in VDI. So go to this PC on the left side, top, a little bit higher up, click on this PC. And now go to Google Drive, which is your fourth icon on the top, up. Yep, that one, double click. So for anyone who got lost during the VDI conversation, I'm showing you again through Mark what to do. Not through Mark, sorry, through Clark. All right, now double click on shared drives. This is for VDI people. Open up Photoshop. Yep, it'll wait. It'll take a little bit of time. It's coming. This is your computer's accessing the Google Drive. There it is. Now that folder there that says Summer 2023, right click and copy.
Right click.
Right click.
Copy. Okay.
Try again, right click and copy. Is it working?
Pressing Command C.
No, I didn't say do Command C. You're on a Mac and a PC is confusing. I said right click and copy. Because you're on Windows, Command C won't copy it. You'll have to do Control C. It's much easier to right click and copy. Right, now you double click so you're inside of it. So you need to actually back out.
Okay.
So you need to go, no, 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 no.
I'm sorry.
That's
what-
okay. That's your click on
Oh.
student desktop. That's backing out of your browser. So you're
sorry.
leaving VDI. It's kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing when you're on VDI, you want to back out and you're leaving the whole VDI thing. So now it needs to open up again. So VDI people beware to not back out of VDI. It's okay because you just did it. It'll just say, okay. Okay. Now, okay. So now what I meant by back out is you need to go back to find your Google Drive. So go up to show me your mouse. There it is. Go to these PC again.
You've
And
got
then double click on Google Drive again.
Google Drive.
Right, the top one, yeah, double click. Share drives. Photoshop. Okay. Right click now. Do not copy with a shortcut to the folder that's on the left. Do a 2 fingers down
Oh, 2 fingers down.
and then go down to the word copy.
Okay. Copy to.
Nope, nope, just copy.
Yeah. And just press copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
now
when you say right click, I have to get it into my brain that right click means
is 2 fingers down because, yeah, and I'm going to say that for Photoshop and Illustrator, you should buy a mouse or a Wacom tablet. You should never attempt to do graphics with your finger,
Yeah.
but that's, you know, all right.
Yeah.
So now go up to the this PC again. It's easier because you don't see the whole thing. Go to this PC, Google Drive, and then open My Drive this time. Okay, and now in here, you can do a right click or in your case, 2 fingers down and paste. Paste. And good, your files will appear and you'll be ready to go.
Great,
Oh,
thank-
one last thing, when the folder appears, you need to drag that folder and put it on the left side where you see this PC desktop documents. You need to put it under the word pictures. And that'll be your quick access. Then you don't need to do this anymore. All of this is the setup for the files. After this, everyone will have the files ready to go. Now, there you go. Grab this folder and drag it a bit. No, not to, no, stop it, stop it. Cancel, cancel, cancel. By putting it in pictures, it's trying to copy. Drag it and put it in the space, in the black space under pictures.
Oh, under picture. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect. Now click on that link. And there you go. Class files are set. You're ready to go.
Great. Thank you.
Now, the only thing that you're not ready to go with, don't stop yet, is that your bridge is very tiny. Yeah, click on that. Exactly. Maximize. Click on that button that you're on. Whoop, whoop. You were on the little, nope. Down, 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 down. Put your mouse down. Okay, go to the right and you see the X. Don't click on the X. Nope. The white X, the white, keep going into the, move back to the left. And it's the X that's on the white bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and don't click on the X, the
Okay.
one right next to it, maximize that one, click. Sorry that sometimes I get all, because I'm trying
Yeah.
to stop
No,
you.
no, I don't want to.
It's kind of scary when I do that, but if you click, then we'll have to reopen everything,
yeah.
right? So I'm like, wait, no. So there you go. Now you're set.
Okay.
All right, Karen, you said yes, you have the files. Clark, now you can say yes. Linda, Peggy, Barbara, Mark. Okay, everyone but Barbara. What's up, Barb? Did you download the class files yet?
I can't find them, but I got into this class by clicking on a 2022 class.
Yeah, well,
But-
it's okay.
I'm
Oh, you can't find them because you're not registered for this one. I'm looking at the roster.
I-
That's why you
I
won't be able to
registered.
find them.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you're not. You're not in this one, but you know what? You can register. And then you'll get the class files because when you're not registered, the folder doesn't open up for, it just shows nothing. Because when you go to, when you
Oh,
go
I-
to the, when you
I-
go here, it won't have the folder. So the CRN is 80198.
Yeah, I'm reading it in the book. I There's
Yeah,
the two.
so let's do this. For now, follow along with any file that you have, because I know you have a lot of files. You've used Photoshop a lot of times before. Follow along with whatever you have, and then after class, go ahead and register, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so now, guys, this has been, I know, a bit excruciating, but we're there. Everyone has Photoshop. Everyone has files. Everyone is signed in with two-factor authentication. Everything that had to happen has just happened. So now we are ready to start with Photoshop. I haven't taken a break, but that's okay because you all did while I was helping. So I'm going to continue because I really want to kind of get going. Sometimes this process takes half an hour. Sometimes this process takes, like today, 2 hours, and it depends on how many people are not in or not in speed and all of that. But once we're here, it works. Everyone is ready. Okay. So I believe everyone, the only owner who didn't take the break was Rachel, but she's the one who had to leave. So yeah, everyone took a break. Okay, good. So then let's continue. Right now, I'm going to ask you to equalize your workspaces, and then I'll explain what Bridge is. So if your workspace looks just like me, if you're on a Mac, this is good. If not, I'll tell you how to change it. But if you're on VDI, it's actually going to look like this. So it looks a little bit different, but not much because the parts and pieces are all there. So on the left side, you'll have, you know, the folders, and in the middle, you should have a lot of little files. And then you should have a thing that says preview here that right now is showing nothing. Single click on any photo that's here, and then you'll see a little preview here. And then over here, you'll see metadata. And metadata is something that's going to be really important to us, and I'm going to talk a lot about it. So for now, it doesn't matter. You don't need to see it, but soon we will be talking about this. Now, I have, there's a bit better. I had a bad space. Now on the Mac, if you see anything very differently, right, then what we need to do, Mac or PC, up over here, it says essentials. If instead of essentials, you see libraries or film strip, notice that when I change to the others, my entire window changes. It becomes very different. Or if I go to output or metadata. So make sure that you're in essentials. Now, what Bridge is, and if it looks, essentials still looks different, you can go to this little arrow and just, you know, reset that one. What Bridge is, because here I am telling you to open Bridge. By the way, in the background, please open Photoshop in case you haven't yet opened Photoshop. But what Bridge does, it's basically at this point, the way we're using it right now, it's a fancy finder. I have people who are Macs, people who are PCs, and you're accustomed to find your files on the Finder window if you're a Mac, or on a Windows Explorer if you're a PC. Now, for better or for worse, when you see files that way, first of all, you might not know where they are and find them. Some people have a hard time with file management, but also you just see their file names, you don't see the photo. And best case scenario, you might also try to double click on a JPEG and it'll open on some like Windows preview viewer or something like that. It will not open in Photoshop. Adobe has created a program called Bridge, which, as its name implies, bridges all of its graphic applications. So Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere, audio, you know, After Effects, any Adobe application that you're using can be accessed. The files can be accessed using Bridge. And as you might have noticed, all I had to do was navigate through my computer files to find where my files were, just as if this was a Finder or the Windows Explorer. And when I found them, that's where they are in Bridge. So it's not like you need to put them in any particular place or not in Bridge. You just need to find them as if you were looking through your own organizational stuff. Now, when you're here, there's a bunch of things that we're going to do from here. We're going to work on raw files. We're going to work on categorizing, organizing, keywording, all the kind of stuff that you need to do to organize your files. You can do here in Bridge. for now, all we're going to do is simply select an image and learn a lot more about the metadata. And the metadata is going to inform us whether this file is going to be good or not for using it for the internet, for the web, at any shape or form, an application on a mobile phone or whatever, or for printing. So we're going to learn a lot about metadata, resolution, that kind of thing over here. Also, if I want to see if this is the right image or not, because, you know, maybe you have 10 photos of this guy and you want to see which one is the best smile, you can hit the space bar and it'll get really big. And I know this isn't sharing well because I'm only sharing a little window, but you try it, select something and then hit your space bar and you'll see that it fills your screen. And then you can look and go, oh, well, this is the one where the eyes were closed or the smile is not as good or whatever. So that's a big way to see your photo. Okay. So you select on a photo and you hit the space bar. Again, as I said, my demo doesn't show it all, but it helps you be able to decide if this is the photo you need or the next one or so on and so forth. Also, if you just want to say you have 10 photos of a group, right now I only have one of each, right? But say you have 10 photos of this guy. You don't need to go up and down, up and down. You can go up and then scroll through them by clicking your arrow keys and you go to the next one and the next one and the next one, right? To decide of the 5 photos of this guy, which one do I want? Say that you decide that you want is, okay, it's this one. You hit the spacebar again and you'll have selected that one. So it's a really good way to see which one of the 10 of the many times when you're doing something photography that's like landscape or modeling like this, you'll have many photos of the same moment, right? Other times it's a one-off photo you took and off you go and it's a one photo, that's all you have. That's great. But this is a good way to decide what you have. You can do a rating, you can do all of the stuff. I'm not going to work on that. All I'm going to say is another thing that we have here is that you see the extensions and it tells you what kind of files they are. So over here, you see an extension called CR2, NEF, DNG. You might be wondering, oh, what are those? Well, these are different extensions that have to do with these being raw files. So I'm going to talk a little bit about raw files later. Right now, I'm going to say that most of the time, people who take regular photos, what they get is a JPEG out of their camera. So you're going to see there's a lot of JPEGs here. But if you have a camera capable of shooting raw files, we're definitely going to process raw files. And we're also going to process raw files, JPEGs with the tools of raw files. And we're going to understand why that matters later. But for now, I see that Clark, your hand is up. Is it a new question or is it before?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah.
So I pulled up the double click. I've got the full big picture. How do I back out of that? So
Okay, hit the space bar again. And it's not double click, it's space bar.
Okay,
If
gotcha.
you double clicked, you actually opened that photo in Photoshop, right?
Okay.
So I haven't had that do that. So if you did double click, that's fine. It's in Photoshop. But in Bridge, you hit your space bar to make
Okay.
it big and small.
Got it.
Space bar, space bar. Now, you could go down here and zoom things up and down as well, but it's nowhere near as good as hitting the space bar. I'd rather have this a bit smaller so that I can take a quick gander at all the photos I have versus making them big in here. Another thing is right now I'm sorting by type. So that's why I have like CR2, NEF up there and then JPEGs. Most of you probably are by default sorting by name, in which case you're probably going to have a different organization of your files. And I should have done that from the beginning. To have you guys sort by, this is how you guys see the files right now. So when I said you have JPEGs and EFs, you have them mixed up down there. In fact, the first thing sorting by file name is a PSD. PSD is a Photoshop document. Photoshop document means that you have altered it and created it in Photoshop. It's a layered file with filters, whatever it may be. And so that is the way you save any file that you're working on. When you're done working on it, you're going to output a file as a JPEG, but then you'll have the PSD and the JPEG of the same photo. We're going to do that because you always want to be able to keep altering the photos that you're working on. Anyway, we're going to talk more about Bridge later. I just wanted to give you an idea of what it is and why we're using it. Let's go to the file called layers sample. And now, as you can see, it's a PSD file. we're going to go ahead and double click on it and we're going to open it up. So double click, it's going to trigger Photoshop to open up. And although I told you all to open it up ahead of time, I hadn't yet done that myself. So I'm going to double click and Photoshop is going to open up. Let me let Barb in. And I'm going to share my screen because I don't have Photoshop shared. So give me a sec. There you go. Now I'm sharing this window up in Photoshop. Okay, great. So now this file has opened up in Photoshop. Okay. Now, if you are here and your file is open up in Photoshop and life is good, then give me a yes. If for any reason you couldn't find it or something's wrong, this would be a time to give me a no because we're about to get going. My Photoshop and VDI is still opening because it's a little bit slower. But this that we opened, for those of you who already have it open, this is a layered Photoshop layered file. It's a file that has already been worked on, is a composite, and we're going to work on that to learn about the capabilities of Photoshop. But I want us to go back to Bridge. And one thing that's important, and I'm going to show you guys this, sharing my entire screen. And my entire screen is very full of junk right now because I'm teaching people how to organize their files on a different class. But here's my entire screen, right? And what I want you to do, if you're on a Mac or on a PC, but I'm going to show it on the Mac first, I don't want you to be like moving Photoshop over to get to Bridge and then moving Bridge over to get to Photoshop and doing all this weird stuff that people tend to do. I'm actually having them all piled up one on top of the other because because I'm sharing them for you. But what you need to do is go down here to the dock and switch from Bridge. I clicked on Bridge, right, to Photoshop. Bridge, Photoshop. That's how you switch back and forth. And then you can not have to move things around. A lot of people end up moving things out of the way. And if you do this and you move it there, then you can't access the tools that are in the bottom. So never move things down or up, just select them on the dock. Now you might have them over here on the dock, wherever you have them, but you'll see a big BR and a big PS for these two programs. Now that exact same thing in VDI. In VDI, if you get this message of your graphics processor incompatible, that's a VDI issue. Don't worry, it won't stop us from anything. Just say, okay. And now I'm on VDI, and the same thing for PC people. Here's my PC pool bar. And now I'm going to share only that because it's really hard to see anything when I'm sharing so many windows. So I'm going to, when you see my entire screen, it's really confusing. So now in Firefox, sorry, I'm using Firefox as my brother. In a PC, you would go from here, from Photoshop to Bridge, right? Photoshop and Bridge, right? So this is how you would go back and forth on, instead of, again, moving things around, right? So now let's go back to Bridge. And now we're going to open a flat file or a JPEG. Okay, so we're going to open a file that is not a layered file. And we're going to go ahead and open the guy up here that I said before, the Blue Man solid JPEG. We're going to go ahead and do that. Double click on that one. And now you will have two files open. You will have the one that we just opened. If you have little messages like that telling you, oh, learn how to do this or that, for now, just go ahead and say got it, because we don't need seeing that. Give me a sec while I open Blue Man in my PC in my Mac version. There it is. All right. So when you have two files in Photoshop open, we're going to go back and forth like this between each file. You can have 10 files open, as many files as you can, but in reality, as many files as your computer can handle, because many times having Photoshop files open is really taxing your system. All right. So the Photoshop file that we just opened, the JPEG file, I'm sorry, that we opened over here, we see the file name. It says .jpeg at the end, is not a layered file. So over here, it says background and there's a lock on it. This is considered a flat file. It is not layered. This is either what came straight out of the camera or someone already worked on it, right? And then set it up in as a JPEG for output. We're going to understand more what I mean about output as I keep explaining. But the first one, the one called layer sample, down here at the bottom right, has layers. And you can see that there's 4 different things here. And there's eyeballs. And if I turn these eyeballs off, that layer disappears from view. Click on this eyeball, that one disappears from view. Click on that one, and we're left with only the background, which, by the way, I can also click and it disappears from view. And what we see here in the background, when you click everything out, is a little white and black. It's so tiny, it's hard to tell. Checkered grid. That is transparency. That means nothing in Photoshop. So when you turn this one on, you begin to see something. When I turn it off, I see nothing. And then if I turn on, say, just a flower, well, this flower was floating against that background, and that's why I see transparency behind it. I'm going to go ahead and turn them all on again. And in when I do it here in the VDI, I'm going to turn all these guys off. And it's kind of cool because in VDI, my checkered background is bigger on the PC. So this is what I mean by checkered background. On a Mac, it shows up so tiny that you might think it's just gray, but this is really what it is. This is transparency. So when I click on one of these, I'm going to see only the floating item and transparency. If I happen to turn the background on, it's because this thing is a full one. See, it's an entire layer. And that's why I don't see a transparency anymore, but this still is floating on top of it. All right, that was just a real quick shoot through the 2 types of files. Anything in what I just said that didn't work for you? Now, first of all, what I just did is how I'll be teaching, in the sense that I'll be showing you some stuff. I'll be doing it a few times, and then I'll turn around, and then I'm going to need you guys to tell me, yes, it worked for me. No, it didn't work for me. As we get into, complicated things, I'm going to expect quite a few of you to have questions and want to stop, and then I'll, if necessary, share the screen or not. But for now, when I say, did this work for you? Everyone has to say yes. And if it didn't, say no. Now, again, even if you think, oh, well, that was so easy, all she did was show us something, I need to look up at the group and know who to help, right? And as things get more complicated, there will be things to help. So if this worked for you, meaning opening up both files, turning on all eyeballs, switching from file to file, going from Photoshop to, to Bridge and back, if all of this was like, okay, got it, then give me a yes. If there's any questions, give me a no. For people who are new to Photoshop, it all looks the same. But for people who used even the last version, there's some new panels that are appearing that you've never seen. Even if you used Photoshop, 3 weeks ago, this is the latest version of Photoshop, has some really cool new tools that I'm going to be showing you, including this little panel here that you've never seen before because it's the first time it makes an appearance in Photoshop. All right, Clark, yes, how can I help you? If you're speaking, you're muted. I'm calling on you because you said no.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
When I have the I just can't do 2 pictures at the same time.
Okay. So
I'm going from Bridge to Photoshop. That's all working fine. I'm doing
okay.
the layering thing that worked fine. I just don't know how to make 2 pictures show up.
Well, all you need to do is open 2 at the same time. So if you open the layering ones, that's when you said you opened. Did you open the blue man? Go ahead and double click and open the blue man photo. It starts with the name blue man, but it kind of looks blue, which is easy to identify. Once you double click on that one, it'll open up. So you need to double click on it. And once you open it up, then you will have both open. So you don't need to do anything other than open it, and it will appear up here, and then you will have both. Does that make sense?
No, because I can't get out of the one photo. I can't get back to that gallery. How do I get back to
All right. So down here where I'm pointing to the taskbar, Do you see the word Adobe Bridge? It's possible, by the way, in Photoshop, for those of you who are interested, you can actually go to File and say Browse in Bridge in Photoshop, and it opens up Bridge again, right?
Okay, okay,
Because
I,
Bridge is part of Photoshop.
I see. what you're saying.
But there you go. And then when you're here, go ahead and double click on the Blue Man color, saturation, and solid is the whole name of it. And it should now begin to kick in to open up. And then to go back to Photoshop, it'll take you to Photoshop because it opened up. But then down here, you need to be able to move back and forth on your taskbar
Okay,
to go from one to the other.
okay.
Okay, great. Barb, you don't have this photo because
no,
you don't have the
that's-
class files, but you
that's
do
my-
have
I want-
this one.
I wanted to know, I got a new startup script found. Do I want to click yes? The bridge extension Photoshop contact sheet? Or do I-
Yes, if good point. If you are opening Photoshop on your personal computer and the Photoshop just updated, because this just happened last week and you haven't opened it yet, you will have messages like that say accept extensions for bridge, accept things like that. And that's fine because Photoshop is opening up as a new program. So yes, accept all that stuff because yeah, say yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
And this might be just on a Mac because PC. One thing I like about Macs is that they're really careful with your privacy and they're going to ask you all the time they need to do something to your computer. PCs kind of just do it for you and they don't ask you. So you might not get those messages if you're on a PC, but on a Mac you will. But you might get them on the PC as well. If it's something really big update, you might also get questions like that. All right. Let's see. How are we doing with time? I apologize. I need to check because we took so long with the beginning part. And it's always a bit of a surprise how long it'll take. I do my best. But yeah, we're fine. The class is till 12:45. Okay. All my classes finish at a different time. Some finish at 1, some at 12:15, some at 11:55. For goodness sake, they could make just everything finish at the same time and then I wouldn't have issues. But I need to check to see, and since it's the first day, this one is 12:45, so we're good with time. All right. Cool. So since everyone said yes or yay, like things are working, I'm going to continue. And one thing I beg you to do as a commitment to the class is if something's not working, please say so. Don't ever think, oh, I've asked too many times, or I don't want to slow the class down, because in fact, not asking me slows the class down more, because A, when you ask me in 10 minutes, you'll be 10 steps behind and I'll have to help you catch up to 10 steps. If you ask me in the moment, one step, quick answer. If the quick answer doesn't work, quick share, fix, go on. A total of 1 minute, we fixed it versus 10 minutes further on. Okay. And don't ever be embarrassed of asking questions. You guys, there's one thing I didn't do this time because I was so concerned with people accessing Zoom and all that. I didn't get to do one thing, which is warn you, and everyone normally would do a little hands up. There's people of all levels here. There's people who are really good at Photoshop. There's people who are completely new, who've never done it. I am aware that there's all kind of levels, and I cannot expect you all to know and understand my instructions at the same speed. But because I address all the levels, I'll say things in one way. The people who understand what I'm talking about will work on it. And then I'll ask again. And the people who are newer to this will need me to say it again. And they will ask me, and then I will help them. You know what I'm trying to say? But that's just the way it is. All right. So when you're good at this and you know what I'm teaching, you're going to go back to Bridge, open any other of the hundreds of files that I gave you, and practice whatever tool I'm teaching at a higher level on a different photo. And that's how you'll get more practice. Does that make sense? And sometimes you can ask me things about that. And then sometimes I might send you to another file if I know that I'm working with someone at a different level. So just don't worry, I'll get it all handled. The hardest part is over. The hardest part of this class, where you all have to really grin and bear it, was the beginning of setting everyone up. And now that it's over, things are going to be much smoother. All right. I'm gonna close clean your feedback so that next time I have to ask you things, I'll get an answer. About the setup of the class on the of the toolbar, not the class, the toolbar. On the left side, you have the basic tools. If you are working in the Essentials workspace, and you might or might not be working in the Essentials workspace. So the first thing we need to do, everyone needs to be working on the same workspace. What do I mean by that? Head over to the far top right of your screen, and on the Mac and on the PC, it's a little bit different. On the PC, it's right here. It's this little rectangular thing that when you click says Essentials. If you are in Essentials, that's good. If you have used it before, it might have messed up how it presents. Go ahead and click Reset Essentials, because that will make it look exactly like mine. On the Mac, it's actually right there, but people get confused because on the Mac, you don't have all the extra stuff on top. We don't have a whole row of file, edit, image, view, stuff like that, that you do see on the PC. See, so for PC people, right here, you will see file, edit, image, layered, type, select. Right here, it's part of the Photoshop window. On the Mac, you don't see them there, but you do have them. You just have them up way at the top where the apple shows. So let me share my entire screen again for a second, just to help map people understand where they are. If my Photoshop window is here, up here, I have file, edit, image, layer, type, select, window. And these are the exact same things. So whenever I say, go up to the top menu and open your window and choose something, that's where you have to go up there if you're on a Mac. On a PC, they show up right above the program, okay? So I'm not gonna share that top row because then I have to share my entire screen. So whenever I'm on a Mac and I say you have to, open the window, I'll go up here and I'll just click on window, but then you'll see my menu, but you won't see the word window. So you'll have to just listen to me telling you what to open up, okay? So that's just because Mac doesn't have it attached, and so I can't share it when I do my Zoom share. All right, so over here we're going to also go and click on Essentials and Reset Essentials in case you haven't. But again, this window on the Mac is Zoom shares only half of it, but it basically says the same thing. So anything that opens up here on the right side when I'm sharing on Zoom, it cuts off if it's a Mac. So these are minor things, but in case you're looking for me to share and you're on a Mac, you won't see the entire window. Just let me know and I can read it out to you. Okay. All right. So who is completely new to Photoshop? Give me a yes. I'm completely new to Photoshop. Like I have never, ever, ever used it before. I want to see a yes. And if you've used it like like you really have no idea, so you're almost new, give me a yes. If you have enough of an idea that you kind of have an idea of what's happening, that's not a yes. But if you are completely new, no. Okay, great. Now, if you feel very comfortable with Photoshop, but you just want to kind of be reminded about things or learn the new tips and tricks, but you pretty much can handle it. You edit your photos all the time yourself. Give me a no. So that would be a no if you're comfy with them. Yes was your new. So Clark, you had said yes, but now you turned it off. So leave yourself on yes. Okay. So there's some advanced students, which are Linda, Saul, and Peggy. You are right there with it. Some very new people. Everyone else will be in some in-between space where you've used it a bit, you don't know, you're not sure, or maybe you're switching from Mac to PC, or maybe you used it 10 years ago or 5 years ago, but it's changed so much you want to know, but you used to be good at it, et cetera, et cetera. So there's, as you can see, a whole range of students here. I'm going to clear your feedback. For people who are completely new to Photoshop, this is it. This is what it looks like. For people who are experienced Photoshop users of any level, this is absolutely new from the last week. You have never seen this, ever. It just popped up, unless you open Photoshop this week, right? Then you might have seen it. Now, if you didn't update your Photoshop, you might not see it. I'll be teaching the newest tools here and there. And so if at home you haven't updated your Photoshop, go to your Creative Cloud and update it, not right now, after class, so that you have other tools. There's a very new tool right here. There's a new tool called Remove. There's a bunch of new stuff in this new version that I'm going to be showing. So if you are at home and you do not see this right there, you might have it, but you might have closed it. So just in case that's what happened, go up to Window and check and see that your contextual taskbar is turned on. This is in case for any reason it might have turned off, but if it is a new version, you go up to Window and turn this on and then it will appear. Okay, that's just to make sure, because you might have not known what it was. You got rid of it because you can't easily get rid of it. And then suddenly it's like, I don't know where that is. Help. All right. So that is a completely new thing. And you can grab it from this white line right there and move it around so it's out of the way. It's supposed to be helpful to have tools right at your fingertip. Since it's so new, I don't find it helpful because I'm an expert user of Photoshop. So it doesn't help me to have this thing because I know all the shortcuts. But I have a feeling that for new students, it might be kind of comfortable to have some things easier to find than to have to look for them everywhere. So I'm going to give it a try at teaching you this. And then later you can tell me whether you find it more useful or not. But for now, I just want to make sure that you know it, you find it, you know, and that you can move it around because it'll get in the way sometimes. So you need to be able to move it around. It's always from that line. All right. So yes.
Mine's checked, it's turned on, but it's not showing on the screen.
All right. It's possible that you have not selected a layer. Good point. If you have no layer selected, it disappears. So if you're in the Blue Man and it's showing, it's because there is only one layer. But if you're in the layers sample and you have nothing here that's selected, this would mean selected. This would mean selected. Clicking here means nothing selected, then the bar disappears. So if you're in this one, click on one of these layers and then it should appear. Okay. Now, if you don't have, you should have a layered file for this then, or you should be on a flat file, then you'll see it. Why is that? Because this is, and let me explain, because this again, it's a very different tool and very new. It's supposed to be helpful and appear showing you the things that you could do based on what you've selected. So with this selected and locked, it gives you the most popular. It's kind of like the top hits of the tools. It's not all of them. It's the top hits of the tools. And it assumes that what you might want to do here, first of all, might be to select this subject, right? Or you might want to remove the background. Now, this remove the background is a new tool to Photoshop as well. It didn't exist before.
For lazy people.
I know, you might want to make an adjustment layer. You might want to use properties. So those of you who don't know what these things are, you might want to transform this figure. So those are the top hits. Beyond that, you can do 2,500 other things, but these are what people mostly do. And that's why they're here. Let's try this out. Let's hit on this one that says remove background. Click on it. Old-time Photoshop users, you're going to be like shocked and amazed because this used to take 100 hours to do. I have spent so many hours teaching you how to do that. And boom, the background has been removed. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. I'm not going to say it's perfect because like over here, it's kind of eating up the chair and left a little bit of blue background between the fingers. But you know what? It's pretty, let me just say, effing amazing. It's magic. You guys who are new to Photoshop have no idea how special this is. Now, what happened? The background is still there. You see here this little thumbnail, but a mask appeared, and we're going to be spending a lot of time learning how to make our own ones of these. But a mask is equivalent to put a mask on your face because it's Halloween, and then you have two holes open for your eyes because your eyes still need to peek through. Well, the black part of this is the mask and the white part is your eyes. And so you're peeking through and we're seeing through only the person, because that area is outlined in white, you're seeing through, and the black area is the mask. It has been masked out. So you do not see the background, okay? So masking is one of the most powerful things of Photoshop, and you can be very selective and careful and change any item of an image by careful masking. But this very automatic quick masking that we did here was a push of a button. And if I now click on this layer again, you can see that you can select the image or the background or the mask. And notice what's happening to that toolbar. When I select the image, the toolbar is still there. When I select the mask, the toolbar disappears. So that toolbar will appear, disappear according to what we're doing. So don't ever wonder, well, you have it and I don't have it. If that's so, look at what I'm selecting, and then that'll explain why maybe you have it and I don't have it. You might be selecting that and I'm selecting this, right? So it's a different creature. Now, this has become a layered file. It used to be a flat file. It said background and it had a lock. Now it says layer 0. So this is now a layered file. If I save this file, I cannot save it as a JPEG anymore. If I save this file, it will invariably have to be saved as a PSD, Photoshop document, in order to keep this editable. What I mean by that, so that you can change it. If I save this as a flat file, I will never again be able to get this blue background. I will not be able to fix it in case it's a bad selection, a bad cutout. It will be stuck in time that this guy will be cut out. So you never want to do that. You want to always have access to your layered file, because you want to be able to say, no, that wasn't good. I want to get rid of it or whatever. And we're going to do that right now. We're going to go up to our history, this little icon right there at the very top of this thing column with the little upper arrow. If I hover over it, I get a tooltip. That's my history. Let's click on that. And history needs to be expanded. Put your mouse down here and make it bigger. And the history is the steps that I've just created. So I just removed the background, but I want to undo that. So I'm going to go one step up and it's going to go back to open. So it's back to nothing having happened. And this is background again, and it's locked again. Now, for the next second or so, I can still go back here and trigger back and forth, and I can still have it happen or unhappen, so to say. And in the computer, this means do or undo, redo or undo. So if you know your shortcuts, redo or undo is Command Z, or on a PC, Control Z. So you can do the same thing with this. You can now, I'm going to go to my keyboard and I'm going to hold Command down, and then I'm going to tap one time the letter Z, and that's going to undo. And if I'm going to tap, and then I'm going to do Command and Shift and tap the letter Z, and that's going to redo. So the shortcut is Command Z. The moment I tap the Z, I undo, or redo is Command Shift Z. If you're on a PC, it's Control Z to undo and Control Shift to redo. Okay, so PC people or VDI people, all right, if you're on VDI and you're a Mac person, you need to hold the Control key down. I'm going to go ahead and do that here on this one. You need to hold the Control Z or Shift Control Z to undo and redo. Now, why this matters is because with the Control Z and undo Z, you can go backwards blindly. But in the history, it will not be a blind process. You will be able to see what you're going back on, okay? So we will be using the history more later. Right now, all I want you guys to do is to go back to open. And just so you know, if your open disappears, which sometimes it will, you can always go back to the beginning by clicking on this top person. That one is beginning your file all over again, right there. Okay, so everyone, let's begin the file all over again. We do not want to keep that layered. And now I don't need history for a little bit anymore. So I can click on this little icon again to make it disappear. open and close at will. Okay. All right. So now, if everyone was able to remove the background, move up and down, not only in the history, but with your undos and redos, and go back to scratch, if that all worked out for you, give me a yes. If you have any questions or you were stopped somewhere, give me a no. And now I'm going to actually go and do this thing again here on the PC so that I have the same settings on the review. Okay. By the way, look at that. This one is giving me a little tooltip, which is wanting to go. It says the new contextual. Oh, the tooltip now is gone. Those little tooltips that are supposed to help you, they last only a couple of seconds. And then if you haven't read them, but it's basically telling you it's supposed to put tools at your fingertip is what it's saying. All right. Cool. So those are some of the basics of how to handle our windows popping in and out. I'm going to make this one bigger for future. And our history, which is going to be very important. Many times you just undo quickly with your fingers. But if you have to go by, say, 50 steps, because this one controls 50 steps, you can jump 50 steps back. Can you imagine if you had to do control, tap, 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 tap the Z 50 times or 20 times? That would be really uncomfortable, right? So in that case, you will use the history to quickly go back 20 steps or 5 steps or 30 steps instead of tapping the Z many times. All right, that's the history. Now, when I share my VDI tools, there's going to be this little tab here that's kind of butting in. And that, if I click on that, that's my VDI Verizon Horizon tools. If this happens to you, click on this little tab and it'll pop out again. But just be careful, because when I tell you to grab one of these tools, wherever your tab is, that's just intrusive. Just click on that same tab again and it'll go away, right? So then you're going to have to be just more careful and get it from there. People at home don't have that. That's just a VDI thing. All right, let me clean up your feedback for the next time that I stop and ask questions. Let's one thing that I did forget to do, and I want to do this now just for the purpose of starting your Padlet with something that has to do with Photoshop, is now I want you to use your history to redo the remove background right there, right? And then, because what I've been teaching you is how to use this taskbar, how to redo the background, how to use history, I mean, how to say a layered mask. What I want you to do is to do a screenshot, and I'm going to do a screenshot of this whole area, right? So I'm going to do, if I'm in a Mac, Shift Command 4, and when my mouse turns into this, go ahead and grab all of this so that I can see the tab in the bottom. That's my new contextual tool, my layered mask over here, my history, my background removed, you know, kind of grab all that. And at that point, set your screenshot. If you're on a PC, you're going to do Control Shift S. Okay. Now, the only time Mac users who are on VDI, Karen, are you on VDI? Sorry, Karen, are you a Mac user or a PC user?
I am a Mac user, but I was able to get Photoshop through my work, so I am using that.
Oh, so you're using that. Okay, good. So now you're not on VDI anymore. All right. I didn't know that. I kept addressing you as if you're on VDI. So VDI people at this point, Linda and Saul and Clark, if you're a Mac person on VDI, you can still use the Mac shortcut for this, which is easier, because then you'll be able to post it on Padlet much easier. So don't do this through VDI. Just use the Mac Shift Command 4, get your screenshot, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and head over to Padlet and post the screenshot. So now I'm going to go ahead and post the Padlet, back into the chat. Go ahead and click on that link that I just gave you and head over to your Padlet. And now let's go ahead and upload our blue man with his background removed, and the history panel and the contextual panel. So go ahead and put your name. For PC people, just paste. For Mac people, go and select your latest screenshot, which will be on your desktop. So I have a complicated little window here, but click on desktop and that's how you find it. You can also, if you have it on your desktop and you see it, just pop it in, dragging it in. And then if you want to hear, this would be a good time to talk about like history panel, layered, with a layer with a mask, contextual menu, you know, whatever it is that you think you learned here. Sometimes you'll be writing steps, things like that, so that later you can have a reminder of where it is. You might say, go to the right. You might click things that I've been telling you. And then when you publish, you'll have some reminder of what this was all about. Because when you come back here, you can go ahead and click on this and it'll open up and it'll show you your heads, it'll show you your menu, your information. And then if you have a question, you might have written something like, hey, Diana, how did this or that happen? And I can go in here and I can answer to Javier. I can say, la da la da 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 da, and I can send that to you. And so if you had a question about something that didn't work or whatever, you're gonna have homework, you can post it here. And if something worked or didn't work, what this says, by the way, let me be clear, please post your homework images. I should add your class images or anything you want to share with me. Successes and failures are all welcome. The whole point is that if you do it well, great, that's a success. But if you do it wrong, you know, which might be, it might be so, you're going to learn more by posting it, because you'll say, you know, yeah, in class it worked, but then this week I went and tried to do it on my file and this happened and that happened, and you'll explain, can you help me figure it out? And then I can come in here and add comments, help you figure it out. And if it's a long explanation, I'll explain it back in class, et cetera, et cetera. So when you do it right one time and you never do it again, you don't really know if you know how to do it. The way to know is to try it on your own with one of your own images, right? And so that's what you're going to be doing here, trying things with on your own. Someone made this post here that says layer. I do not know who it is. So if you do know, because it was yours and it was a mistake, you can go ahead, click on here and click on these three dots and just delete it, for example. Or I can go do it later, but that's just to show you that you can go edit it. Say that Javier wrote background removal and now he wants to add a question. You can hover over here, click edit, and then go back in there and add your question and then update and it'll post in there, right? So you guys aren't stuck with this. You can change or do things like that. All right, so I want to see everyone's posts. I'm not going to check right now to make sure everyone is posting, but I will later, because this is kind of the way I'm going to know that you're doing the work and participating in class. So go ahead and keep posting. Whoops, I'm going to go back to class. And there you go. Now, I want to show you when this doesn't work, right? So up until now, I basically told you, this is like magic. You go back and forth and it works, right? Well, let's do this. Let's undo it. Let's go all the way to the beginning. So now, don't do this. Keep an eye on my screen. Look at these two things right there. It's grayed out. They say open and remove background. You already saw that if I click on it, it does the job. I'm going to go back out. This is where I want to be now. Watch what happens right here. Keep your hands on that. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do something else, whatever it might be. I'm going to select this thing and I'm going to click on something. Now that I've done it, what happened to my history? My history that I went back upon has disappeared. So the history doesn't stay there forever. It stays there as long as you keep moving forward, right? If you keep moving forward, I can go back 10 steps. But the moment I went back 10 steps, imagine that you're on a road and then suddenly you come to a fork in the road. If you start walking up one way and, 100 feet down, you decide, oop, this was the wrong road. You go back and you take the other fork. You're now on the new road, and this is the new road, and thus you don't see any more of the trees that you saw before. You see the new cliffs, right? So when you back up and take a new path, which is what I just did, doing something else, my old history disappears. So you might have had 50 items here, and the moment you do back up and do something else, all your history is going to disappear, and you're going to create a new history path. Okay. So history isn't like the fix all. It's just really good to back up when you made a mistake, when you want to change, when you do something like that. But you can't always go forward. The moment you change your path, it disappears. All right. That's just I wanted to make sure clear. Everyone go ahead and do that now. Go back on your history, and then go, and this second tool that I have right here is a selection tool. I'll teach you more about selections, but right now just click on it and then click and drag anywhere. We're not going to select anything in particular. All that matters is you did something special and different, and you'll see how your history disappeared. Clark, yes. What's your question?
Yeah, my image, if you see in the Padlet, is huge. How do I make it back to normal size?
Let me go see. Okay. So yeah, this is a little bit of that gold in the forehead, right?
Yep.
Yeah, good point. Thank you. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, I'm going to close my history because I don't need it anymore. Notice, and this is kind of cool. I like shortcuts, so I always will tell you to deselect by doing Command D or Control D. But if you don't remember the shortcuts, there it is. This thing is telling you that since there is a selection, it gives you the option to deselect. All right. If you wanted to select that way, click on deselect so that that pattern doesn't show up anymore. All right, that this is a selection, and now you can deselect from there. I'm worried about this because it's helpful, but it also might stop people from being faster, because faster than clicking on an icon is to know the shortcuts. And I have a feeling that people will stop learning shortcuts for this thing, but whatever. I'll decide if I like it later, yes or not. But right now I'm going to answer Clark's question because it's something that I want everyone to do. First of all, I took you to the marquee tool. Please go back up to the move tool. This is the move tool. It's also called the selection tool sometimes. And this is the marquee tool, right? So someone said, how do you deselect? Is that what you said? If you select, you would now go and either go to select and deselect, or you can do the shortcut of Control D, Command D if you're in a Mac, or this pretty helpful little boom, deselect right there if your panel is on and working. All right. Now, marquee tool makes me do selections. I'm going to leave that one right now to go to the move tool, because you basically want to be in the move tool 90% of the time, unless you are specifically using another tool for some indeterminate amount of time. When you're done with that, you're stuck with a tool that can do nothing more than make marquees. That's all it'll do. It's like, I'm done. I got to do something else. So when you're done with any of these other tools, you will always head back to this tool. It's like coming home. Now, what if your tool was one of those and you have to go all the way back there, and then you have one of those tools and you have to go all the way back there? That's a waste of time. So there's a quick way to navigate through the tools. Look at when I hover over this tool, it's giving me a little tooltip. It says move tool, and it shows you the letter V, right? It says move tool, letter V. That is the key. That is the quick way to get to this tool. Now that I'm going to hover over this one here, and it says horizontal type tool, and then there's a little T right next to it. That's the T will get you quickly to the type tool, et cetera, et cetera. So watch, I'm going to click, I'm going to select the T on my keyboard, and boom. See how it's a bit darker? I'm on my type tool. Now I'm going to select the V on my keyboard, and it's going to go back to the V. I've got a little, let me go show this for a minute here. When you're in a type tool, for better, for worse, this is one of the only ones where it's hard to use the letters because you might start typing, right? But anyway, I'm going to hit the V And see how I went to the V? Now the P for the pen tool. And see how subtly my pen tool game, I don't know if you can see subtly, but when you can't see my keyboard, but I'm gonna hold the I for eyedropper and see how slowly I'm selecting these tools with just letters on my keyboard. No control, no command, just that. The Z takes me to my zoom tool. I'm getting to answer your question, Clark. This is a long way around, but the whole point is that I want you to all move back to the move tool, which is the V for move. Okay, so it's kind of the only, others are easier, like P for pen, T for type, B for brush, right? But V for move tool. All right, now that we're in our move tool, we're kind of home safe, so to say. And now, what's that? Did someone say it's not working?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so what's not working? The V, the letters?
The move tool, but my screen might not be large enough.
Well, I haven't used it yet. I've just went to it. And by the way, going to a tool with the keyboard is a nicety and it'll make you faster, but you can always just go and click on it, right? It just, that works too. All right, so here's the thing. Let's zoom in because that's what Clark has. He's zoomed in so much that he's seeing only the yellow gold, let's call it, on this man's forehead. How do you zoom in? Command key for Mac, Control P for PC or VDI users, right? And then tap your plus sign, which is way up there by your delete or backspace key, kind of by your numbers. Plus sign, zoom in one time, plus sign, zoom in another time, plus sign. And every time I tap the plus, I'm not letting go of my command or control, that stays down. And I tap, tap, tap my plus sign and I get to zoom in, until I am seeing nothing but pixels. I'm going to do the minus to zoom out, zoom
What
out,
was the
zoom out,
letter
zoom out.
command
Okay.
what?
If
Yeah.
you're on the, if you're on a Mac,
Uh-huh.
command, but you are on VDI, Clark. So for you, it'll be the control key because on VDI, you're on a PC.
Okay.
So
Control what?
control and then minus, minus, minus to get small, plus, plus, plus to get big.
Okay, got it. Yep, it's working.
Okay, minus, 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 minus. Everyone zoom in and zoom out, plus, 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 plus. Now, I want to keep bringing you up to where you are a little bit higher up. Clearly, I'm not seeing all of this photo. I have zoomed up, and if you look down here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And down in this corner, and I don't know if you see my mouse. Let me put a little, I can put a little, zoom allows me to put a little light on my mouse. Let me give a little color to my mouse. Here we go. Do you see my mouse better now? Down here, you see that my number says 400%. Yours will say whatever it says. You might have zoomed up and down differently than me. But as I zoom up, control plus, 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 it'll take me higher. And as I zoom down, it'll take me lower. Okay. So this is the, let's see, okay, control plus, 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 zoom in. So that was like 600, 700, 800 and down. All right. So say I'm going to stop at 400. What if I now want to say, well, let's look at how good this picture is. Well, at 400%, the picture looks horrible. It's what we call pixelated. But I want to go see that forehead of his, and I can see that this is part of his mouth. So how do I don't want to keep zooming in and out. I just want to stay at 400%, but I want to go see his forehead. So I'm going to have to do something called panning. Some people would scroll, and that's the worst idea in Photoshop. Don't scroll. Hold down your space bar, which gives you a little hand tool, and then click and drag your way around. Okay. That is a more accurate way, because then you can move yourself specifically to the place you want to go. Okay, so what I did is I held down my space bar. You can't see my hand too well because the little red dot is in the way now, but the hand turns on and then you can zoom around as much as you want. And this is kind of where Clark was. His screenshot is showing something like this, which is kind of like a very zoomed in part of this person's forehead. Okay, so that's just what was happening to Clark. So now, why do we want to go zoom in further. Let's keep zooming in a bit further and further and further. And so for that, remember Command or Control plus, because I want us to explore the pixels. I can keep going up and up and up to, I guess, 6,400, and that's as high as you can go. And the pixels are the cells of the of an image. By the way, I got distracted because I was reading a message from Barbara. Is the Padlet a chat screen? No, the Padlet is, I put it in the chat as a link, but the Padlet is something that it's another app on the web. That's all it is. So when I said go to your chat to find the link, it's because, and I'm going to do it again, I typed a link in there and I just typed it in again, Barbara. So if you go to the chat and click on that link that I typed, it's going to take you to our Padlet. Okay, bye, Javier. Make sure later to watch the rest of the class on the recording. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys a link to remind you how to get to the recordings.
Okay.
Can I drag that onto my desktop? Because the chat won't stay.
It's okay. If you want the chat to stay, it will use up too much of your screen. So just go and click on the little chat icon.
No, I have the chat open.
Oh, okay.
The link, where can I drag that off?
Oh, you want to copy it? Don't bother. In the handouts, I gave you all the links, so you can just pick it up from the handouts or copy it from there. And here in the Zoom recording, here's the link. You can copy it from there. Or in the handouts, I also have a Padlet handout, how to use Padlet. Oh, I need to update this for summer. So this link might be, this is probably the link to, let me just make sure. Yeah, that's the wrong one. So I need to update this link. So I'm glad I brought you to it. Give me a quick second. I'm going to get the link from this Padlet. Where's my, oh my goodness, copy link to clipboard. I'm sorry. Let me update this handout because this is the summer 2023 Padlet, and the link here is that one. Okay, there you go. So now in the handouts, here you have the right link on the handout. You also have it in this one, which is the right one. This is the summer one. Okay, so yeah, don't worry about it. When you're in class, it's easier for me to put the link in the click box. But when you're going to do this after class, then you can go do this using the handouts, or you can take it from there and put it somewhere on your notes or something. Anyway,
I'll
you're
have to
welcome.
go over and register. I thought I was registered.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, go. Until you register, you won't have access to the files. So
Right.
later, during this week, at some point, go and download the photos once you're in. Okay. Back to the explanation about pixels. Pixels are, as I said, like the cells are for our bodies. It's the smallest element.
Yeah.
And any image that's taken, that is taken with a camera or a scanner really is a photograph of whatever you put on top of it, right? Things like that. They end up being in a file format that holds pixels. And each pixel can only have one color. That's it, one color per pixel. So it's the combination of millions of pixels that give us our image as seen from afar. So seen from afar is basically zooming out, right? So as I zoom out, all these pixels that are of different colors end up giving us this sense of texture and shape. The more pixels, the better. If an image only has 5 pixels, then all you see is a bunch of pixels. If it has 5 million pixels, then you're going to begin to see some information that looks like what we consider an image. Now, your camera, when you purchased it, someone said, oh, this camera is so good because it can photograph, 12 megapixels. Well, megapixel is 1 million pixels, right? So if your camera can shoot 12 megapixels, then you can take, every time you take a picture, your photograph has 12 millions of these little guys, these little pixels, right? And we're going to talk about resolution. There's a long conversation about this, but pixels matter as far as when it is good or not to print a photo. But I have one more setting that I need to teach you that's really important, which instead of going up and down willy-nilly, when you're in Photoshop, there's two more shortcuts. Control or Command plus or minus make us go up or down. That's great. But Control or Command 0 fits the whole image into my screen. Everything. It just fits back into my screen. Okay. So Control or Command 0. Clark, is that a new question or did I forget to lower your hand?
Sorry, my son called me. So, no, I forgot to lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay, great. No, that's fine. Sometimes I forget to lower your hand, in which case my question is that a new hand? That's what I mean. It's shortcut for, is that a new question? But if not, if you remember the lower hand, that's fine. But sometimes it is a new hand. And so I'm just asking, and sometimes because I'm seeing your hands out of the corner of my eyes, as my monitor on the right is the one I'm working on. All right. Now, so Command or Control 0 brings us back to filling our screen, which is a very important, cancel, which is very important. And then the other really important number, which is almost more important than this one, sorry, I'm moving around, is Control or Command 1. Go ahead and go to Control or Command 1. And you'll see, go ahead and I'm going to put myself on this guy's face when I say Control or Command 1. All right. Now, for those of you who are looking at this in detail, this is 100%. Down here, it says 100%. 100% is a golden number for Photoshop. 100% right here is really important. So Command and Control 1 is a shortcut that you always want to do on your photo the moment you open it, before you do anything else. Control or Command 1. Why? Control or Command lets us see the image zoomed at 100%, which means each pixel of your screen is matching with 1 pixel of this photo. That's why at Control or Command 1 for me is showing me his whole face. And for some of you guys, maybe it's only showing his eye. And for some of you guys, you're seeing his head and his chest. Control and Command 1 is 100% relative to your own personal display, right? So depending on how your display is showing you the image, what your resolution is, my 100% shows me this much of his body. Yours will show you something same to mine if your resolution is like mine or different. But what it also means is that I am seeing this image at its best quality. If this image here is sharp or fuzzy or blurry or moved, or something is wrong with the mask or that I've made with it, like not a carnival mask, but a physical mask that I made or a selection, this is the zoom in that I need to do to a photo. I need to be at 101 because now I can look at the image and go, ooh, this is a photo that's sharp. This is a photo that's not sharp. This is a photo that's noisy. This is a photo that, yada, yada, yada. We'll learn all these things. So off the top of your head, looking at the screen that's in front of you, look at yours because my video will look worse. Look at yours at 100%. Is this image sharp? Is this photo sharp? All right, we got 1 vote. I'm seeing Peggy saying adamantly yes with her head. So we'll call that yes. Give me a yes if you think it's sharp. Give me a no if you don't think it's sharp. And I want everyone to vote. I don't want people to be like, oh, I don't know, so I'm not going to vote. You know, democracy doesn't work that way. In this class, it's a democracy. Yes or no? Is it sharp? And don't get led by the, nose by what anyone else said. I still want Linda and Barbara and Saul to make their choices. That said, there's also already some controversy here. I see a red and 4 yes and 4 1 red and 4 no's.
The background's not, but the head is.
Okay. So that's a half and half, right? But you can't turn on and off. So thanks for saying that. Yes, you think one part is on and off. Okay. Although I don't claim to know everything that's right or wrong in the world, I do know what's right or wrong in Photoshop, and this photo is not sharp. I'm sorry to say, you guys, it is not sharp. Let me show you a photo that's sharp. Let's head over here to layer sample and go ahead and do Control or Command 1. I'm going to move this over to the center. This is a photo where you can see every little dot of water, every little teensy weensy vein. You can see the texture of the leaf behind the veins. That is sharp. When I go to this one, I'm sorry, I see a little blur here. I don't see every little hair of his mustache. I see a blur. I don't see every little hair of his hair. I don't see his eyelashes. I don't see his eyebrows. I'm seeing a little blurred thing here. This is not a sharp image, okay? It's hard to tell. Sometimes people, as you know, can tell, and this you learn with experience, but you are right, by the way, Barbara. It is sharper here than the background. The background is definitely not sharp, but that, you know, and that's sometimes in the photo you do that. You have a foreground that's sharp and then a background that's not sharp. That's good. But when it's a portrait, the face, in particular, the eyes have to be sharp, even if everything else is blurred. Your eyes have to be sharp if it's a portrait. And this image actually is a portrait, okay? So I would expect that to be sharp. Now, I just went to Command 0. At Command 0, does this man look sharp?
Yes.
Against the background.
Yeah, at Command 0, he looks sharp. Even the background looks pretty sharp. As I go down, Command minus, the background looks really sharp now, right? As you look at something from further away, if you step further away from it, things always look sharp. If you guys look at billboards on the freeway, they look sharp, but I assure you that if you stand up right next to that billboard, it looks like lots of pixels because it is a bunch of like red and green and blue colors that will make no sense to you because you are so far going at speed that from far away, you look at it and it looks like it's sharp, but it isn't. They can't print things that big that are sharp. So that's what's happening here. As I zoom out, I'm going further and further away from it. So another example I like to give is whenever I'm actually in the classroom, I'm in the front of the room and the door's in the back. And I say, if a teenager walks in here in that room and he's full of zits, because that's what teenagers do, I wouldn't see them. As he begins to approach me and finally stands in front of me, basically 100%, I would be able to see every detail on his skin, right? Because I've approached. So 100% is that moment. You want to look at a photo and go, is this worth presenting as my photo to an exhibition where I'm going to look to get a prize? And I would go, if it's a portrait, no. If it's not a portrait, you can choose what level of blurriness you want or not, but there's rarely a photo that's completely blurred. Most pictures have at least one hair of one eyelash in focus before they get blurry. And most of the people have most of the photos have the main subject in focus. Now, can you enhance focus? Yes. Can you fake focus? Well, for 25 years, I've been saying no. But guess what? We're in the era of artificial intelligence. So now with artificial intelligence, if you run this photo through AI, yes, that can be turned sharp. It might invent parts of his face to do that, which if it's a portrait, you don't want to do that. But if it's a generic photo of a man in a chair with a blue sweater and a blue background, then who cares if suddenly his eyebrows look thinner or thicker? But yes, they can make this guy look sharp, right? In Photoshop, all we can do is we can enhance sharpness. We can't invent sharpness. There are some AI tools in Photoshop that would let you do that. But for the most part, it's going to be fake. It's not, it is not for the most part. It is fake. It's not real. We can enhance it and make it a bit sharper, but we can't fake sharpness when it's not there, unless we use artificial intelligence. Yes, Clark?
You have a site we can go to for that?
Yeah, but actually, not really yet. First, I'm going to teach you how to do things in Photoshop the right way.
Okay.
And then,
That's the cheating.
no, I have links for artificial intelligence. I teach a class called Create Compelling Content, and within which I teach you a lot of stuff that's online for free to work with images. One of those is links to artificial intelligence, but they all have their pros and cons, and they all would take another class to teach, right? So I'm going to give you some links if you want. Send me an email and I can put some links, but I'm not going to teach you how to use them, okay? Because there's just only so much I can do.
Yep.
And for better or for worse, it wouldn't be I'm going to say honest sounds weird. Artificial isn't dishonest, but it wouldn't be an honest portrait of this guy in the sense that it's might not end up looking like completely like this guy later. So again, if he's just a model in a blue sweater in the background, who cares? But if it's a portrait of, my friend Mark, then it does matter. Does it make the difference? All right. So
You can replace the texture of his skin without changing the color in Photoshop though.
yeah, exactly. There's other things you can do. There's other ways to fix this. Just saying that if you don't want to do, many hours of work on this image, you just thought, hey, this photo is great because it looks great. I can present it to a contest. Well, no, go ahead and do Control or Command 1 first, and then go, I better choose the next one in the roll, where I did get good sharp. Okay. Now, another thing, those of you who understand masking, you will notice that there's some weirdness in the background here. This is because whoever created this photo actually already altered it and faked this background to be blue. And this is a badly made mask. This is a photo I downloaded from a site that shares free photos. And whoever did this is not a good photographer because they didn't get this person focused. And they're not a good Photoshop user because they left unmasked pieces of the background that are very visible once you go to 100%, which means that if you print this photo, right, you're going to see those little green bits and pieces of the background, because if you see them at 100%, you're going to see them in a print. Okay. You might not see them when you go and zoom down, Command minus, 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 although now that I've told you that you can still tell they're there. But say that I print this photo and it prints at this resolution, you might not notice those green things. But in fact, if you print it like on a piece of paper, on photo paper, you will see them because it will print at the same resolution that the 100% showed you. Okay. So don't ever edit. Okay. The big corollary, the big learning lesson here is always zoom to 100% when you first open a photo and decide whether to waste your time on it or not, because you might spend hours on this, making this look good. And guess what? This is not a good result. B, do not ever edit zoomed out in Command 0. 100% has to be the only way you edit things that are details like focus. At this level, you can edit things like color because you want to see the darkness and the lightness and the shine and whatever. Yes, but don't ever forget that when you're done, if you created a mask that looks so good right here, and so whoever made this mask made it at this distance, well, when you're done making your mask that requires detail, do a Command 1 and Control 1, and then check and go, ooh, looks like I need to fix the mask here and here and here. And I'm going to teach you all about how to make masks and how to fix them, right? But right now, this person forgot to check in. There's another greenish thing here down under this comb. There's also a green line. Whoever did this did not do a good job with their mask. All right. Things that you will understand later. Once you do your own masks, you will know how to fix that. But for now, I'm just teaching you how important Control 100% really is. And why it looks different. Like again, in this image, 100% shows me only the veins of this photo, and you might be seeing the whole thing, or you might be seeing one drop. It all depends. I'm going to do Control or Command 0 again to see the entire image. And although I don't see the little details there of the mini drops from afar, if I see it here, yep, there's all the little mini drops. Okay. And that's what you want to see when you want to see something that's sharp. All right, cool. So now that explained, you know, moving around, navigating pixels, how come pixels matter, what they are. Let's do a little bit of practice here with layers, and then for today we'll be done. So here we go. Change to this one that has layers. The first one doesn't have layers. Change to this. Oh, and let me say one more quick thing about this one. The person who created this, which is none of us, if they still have the layered file, not the JPEG, but the PSD layered file, they can easily go in 2 seconds, fix that problem with the mask. They can go in and decide to, hey, I'm going to work on this guy and make him sharper. They can still edit it, which is why you want to keep the PSD version. But if whoever worked on this photo went ahead and flattened it and ended up with a JPEG, now you can kind of fix it, but you can never recover the original color. We are not the original users. I do not know what the original color of this image was, right? So I have no idea how to take it back to being its original color to start again and get a better job. So don't ever flatten your working file. What you do is you have the layered one and you export a JPEG to sell, to print, to whatever, and you keep both versions, okay? This is a PSD layered file. So now I'm going to get to work around with this one. If this was an image that I considered ready to sell, which of course this is not, it's a sample image, I would have to output from here, save as, and create either a PDF or a JPEG or an SVG. You know, there's a ton of files and we're going to learn PNG, which one would be the best. But this will always maintain the layers as I keep it as a PSD. Yes, Clark, your hand is up.
Yeah, I can't get rid of the hand that I have on the over the image. How did I get that in the first place again?
You mean you have a hand if you like your toolbar is a hand or what?
There's like a little hand on the image.
Yeah, that little hand is your hand tool right there, which you got either by clicking on it and then you have a hand tool, or you got it because you are doing a space bar. So just change your tool, go back to the move tool right there, and that'll make your hand disappear.
Move tool at the top. Okay.
Did your hand disappear?
Went to move tool. No.
Move tool, the top one, click on that, make sure if it's dark. If it didn't disappear, try another tool, switch like that. And if the hand didn't disappear, then you need to share your screen because there might be a problem.
Yeah, it's dark, so I'm sorry.
Okay, do you want to just share your screen? I'm stopping my share. Can you share yours? Because they might, you know, if the obvious culprit isn't the solution, then I need to see.
Yeah, so I'm going.
Okay,
up
so
here.
what?
So here's and then I'm going up here, and just a second ago it gave me an option to.
Oh, okay, so you're on a.
I'm on the City College.
On the City College thing, and your mouse is looking like.
And then it's going. There's the mouse clicking the move tool. And
oh, it's like a little finger. Or is I can't see it, or is it the whole hand?
Like the whole hand.
Okay, so go ahead and click another tool. Like click here on the marquee. Click on the marquee. Sometimes you guys, people seem to be moving things kind of randomly. It's because they're trying to move out of the Zoom is in their way. Okay. And that's what's happening. We can't see, Zoom doesn't share itself, but he has Zoom in the way, and that's why he has to move things around. I'm just saying.
I'm not finding
okay.
Marquee. I'm sorry.
Okay, so look at my screen.
I can't see your screen.
Okay, no, that's fine. No, but I'll tell you what, the top tool you chose, that's the move tool, right?
No.
Now the marquee tool is one right under it. It looks like a little rectangle. Click on that. Okay, now move your mouse into the image. Okay, it's still looking like that. Move. I'm wondering if you have your caps lock turned on. No. You know what? As long as the tool does what it needs to do, go down to the one down to the marquee, the one you have, and now click and drag on your screen, and let's see if you make a selection. Click and drag on your screen.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's only doing that when I click and drag.
Yeah, so you have something set up. Do you have perchance something sitting on your space bar? Do you have like a tip of a notebook or
No.
a notepad? Because
No,
sometimes the space bar is being held down.
no.
Okay, so at this point, the fact that your hand doesn't go away and that you can't use the other tools
Mhm.
is weird. It might be that somewhere you have like a dialog box that is asking you to close or save or do, and so it's not letting you change your tool like
Okay.
in another one of your programs. But other than that, if it weren't because it doesn't let you do things, I'd say it's sometimes VDI goes a little bit wild, but I want you to be able to use your other tools. So can you go and open your history, which I'll show you where the history is.
I'm trying to find you again. There we go.
No, I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
Don't look at I'm not doing it. I'm asking because
Okay.
I'm not sharing. You're sharing your screen, so you can't find me. I am not sharing my screen, so you would never find me.
Oh,
You
I
are
see.
sharing your
Okay.
screen, got? So now, I want you to go down to, not down, but to the right, where you have the history that I showed you before. If you remember where it is, click, yeah, perfect. Click on that. And this history sometimes helps me find out what you have been doing. So you're set on remove background. Go ahead and go all the way up to the top and say layers sample. Click on that. Yeah. And now move your mouse into the image and then see if whatever it is that was happening is still happening. Move your mouse
What?
into the image now. Move your hand, whatever, your mouse. Move it into the image. And yeah, go back. It's weird. No, leave it there.
Okay.
Last thing I'm gonna try. Don't click there. That's nothing. It's a mess. Don't click there.
Okay.
Move to the left and go back to what I just said was the marquee tool. Click on that one. Okay.
Mhm.
Now move your mouse in that little animation that appears is really confusing when you don't want it. But
Right.
the moment you move your mouse out of that, the exact place you're touching gives you a animation. Move your mouse a little bit to the right. You leave the tool and it disappears. See? So now move into the image. Move into the image. And see, there you go. Now you don't have the hand tool anymore. You have an arrow. So
Oh, okay.
click down. And
It's back again.
wow, it's up again.
So,
I don't know. I'm out of ideas. This is weird. I'm wondering because I'm thinking if it's something to do with this new tool you have in the bottom, that taskbar, but you can't click and drag. So I can't guess right now what's happening.
It's all right.
Go to the blue man. Go to the blue man to see if it's file based or if it's Photoshop based. Go to the blue man one. Move your tool inside and see if it's also a hand. Yeah. So there's something with that tool. The best bet I could say right now is that you're holding your space bar down, or that you have like crumbs or something under your space bar and it's kind of, being pushed down or something like that. Other than that, I don't know what's happening. So since class is almost over, like we're 2 minutes away.
I just pressed the space bar. I just pressed the space bar and that's what it's giving me now. So I got rid of the hand.
No, that's okay. That's the caps lock. You go to the, okay, click and drag
Sorry.
now. Yeah, click and drag.
Click and drag where?
Anywhere there. Yes, good. It's working now. So your space bar was stuck. It's kind of weird.
Weird.
That maybe you're eating over your keyboard or something, but there's a little crumb and it keeps itself kind of stuck, and the space bar is the one that gives us the hand. Okay,
Wow, okay.
cool. There you go. Fixed it. Woohoo.
Thank you.
Yeah, the hand, the space, the keyboards that get stuck are they, maybe it's just you've had it for a long time and it's just dirty because things happen, dust, mites, and stuff like that. Or maybe it's crumbs. Don't ever eat over your computers and your space. I don't know if you did. I'm not trying to say you did, but in general, don't have glasses of water or food near your keyboard because you can ruin the entire keyboard. And if it's a laptop, you can ruin your entire computer by just having a water glass spill on your computer. But also,
if you have an iMac, you can get a real thin gel skin that lays right on the keyboard.
Yeah, you can do it with any Mac. You can just buy a gel skin of all types and kinds for all keyboards available for different Mac versions, different types of keyboards. Make sure you buy the right one that's for your Mac computer, and then you get that little protection is great. Okay. let me share my screen again. I need to finish what I was trying to show you before we get done. And for people who are on VDI, I need to show you how to disconnect from the class file. So when the class is over, stay for an extra second and it'll be probably just Clark, because right now the rest of you guys know how to do it. So stay for a minute, Clark. Don't leave when I say class is over, because I'm going to need to help you back out of DVI correctly. Okay. All right. So guys, over here we are in Photoshop on this file. What we're going to do now is we're going to play around with those layers, right? So right now the layers, go back to the V or move tool, by the way, because we don't want to select anything. And if you do have anything selected, go ahead and deselect. You can go up to select and deselect, right? Or the deselect if you have something that would appeal there. And then go to your move tool. And now I showed you how you can turn eyeballs on and off to see them, but you can also alter the order of the layers. So I'm going to grab this purple one and I'm going to drag it until I get this little blue line under the between the yellow, and boom. And now my purple has gone down one level, so to say. And then if I move it down a bit more, now it's behind the green. That's harder to tell, but the green popped in. And now I can even move it behind the background. And what's going to happen if I move it behind the background is that I don't see it anymore, because the background is completely opaque, right? And so if I turn off the background, I'll see it. There it is. But if I turn on the background, it's hidden. So be careful when you put anything that's floating under a background that's full. So I'm going to turn off yellow and I'm going to turn off green. And so all I'm seeing right now is the background, right? So I need to move this purple back above the background to see it. That said, you can also move the background as long as nothing is locked. You can move it all the way up, and I'm going to move it to the top, and now it's hiding everything. I'm going to move over there. So basically, I want you guys to play around with the order of your layers, because it's going to become a comfortable way to move things around. But now, more importantly, and this is the one thing that I'm going to say now, and then we're going to start from here next week, which is how to move this. So this is stacking it, but what if I want this purple leaf to be up there? How do I move this purple leaf? And there's two ways, and half of you will have it set up one way and half the other, depending on if your computer Photoshop is new and you've never used it, or if you've used it and had it grandfathered in from the past. So this is an important distinction. With the move tool, right now, just watch me for a minute. I can click on this purple flower, purple layer, click and drag it and move it around, right? That's why it's called the move tool. Then if I want to move the yellow one, I can click on the yellow one and move it around. It kind of makes sense. I can click on the green one and move it around, right? So basically, if I click on it, I move it. This is called auto select. I can click on the background and move it. And when I move it, I see transparency. Okay. So that is auto select, and that's the default setting if you have not changed anything and left it the way it opens up. I would expect many of you to be in that setting. If that's your setting and it did exactly what I said, if you click on green and you click on background and they move, if you click on yellow and they move, then give me a yes, because that'll mean that that's your computer is set up that way. Okay. Now up here, when you look at this, those of you who said yes, I'm seeing only Mark said yes. No one else had that set up for them. And then Mark will see a yes right here, but Clark, yours should be set up this way too, because you just open VDI and that's where it is. And I would assume for quite a few other people, Linda, yeah, it's this way. Okay. Thank you. Now I'm going to show you in my, this is my Mac Photoshop. That way I have it set up a bit differently. On the move tool. Oh, I don't have layers here. I can't do it. I'm going to have to show it to you here. Okay. So over here, if I, instead of having this, see, this is the auto select layer. If I turn this off, okay, don't turn this off, you guys, just watch because you might not want it this way. Then if I select the purple flower, it would seem that it's working. But look, I'm going to click over here and I'm still going to move the purple flower. And over here, and I'm going to move the purple flower. And over here, and I'm moving the purple flower. So I'm clicking on different things and I'm still moving the purple flower. By not having auto select turned on, what you need to have selected is the layer. And you move the entire layer when that layer is selected, even if you're not touching the object itself. I could have everything turned off and I'm touching this air and I'm moving that layer. Okay. Now for 2,500 years, this is how Photoshop was. And quite a while ago now, maybe 5 years ago, this new, to me, to everyone who's used it for a long time, auto select option came on, which is technically easier, especially for beginners, because if I now want to select the yellow one, I can't click on it. That won't work. I would have to click on yellow. Now I can move yellow, but I can move it from anywhere, even when I'm clicking on purple. So the layer is what matters. I click on green and now I move green. Background, I move background. Okay. Now, this is how it's been for the past, whenever, 30 years, whenever since Photoshop was made. And it's only recently that this choice has been made. There's one advantage, where there's many advantages to the old way. The disadvantage is it's more complicated, right? But the advantage is that you always learn to select your layer before you can do anything. And this is the only tool that they've changed to auto select. Every other tool that you use, you're going to have to select the layer for it to work. So you might not be accustomed to doing that because you've kind of eased your way in with auto select, and you'll forget that if you're trying to maybe now turn the purple layer into a pink layer, you won't get to do it right because you forgot that you had to select the layer first or something like that. So that's one disadvantage. The advantage, as I said, it's much easier. The disadvantage is you don't remember that you always have to select for every other thing that you have in Photoshop. You were going to have to select the layer anyway. And then the other disadvantage is that what if I don't see my layer? So right now, let me just show you where I left my purple right. I left my purple right here. I left my, my yellow right after. It's kind of in the original configuration. If I move my background up on top right now, when I say auto select, the only thing I can do is select this. I can't select anything else. I can't move anything other than this because that's all I see. But if I know that I want my purple to move to the top with this not selected, I could still click on the layer and move this to the top and see when you see it. See how I moved it? It was moving in the background. So I'm actioning on layers that I can't see, but that I know need to be in a particular place or another. That's one advantage. Most of the times, what matters the most is that right now, I will not get accustomed to selecting my layers. That's the only negative. So you choose whatever you want to do. Leave it on if you want to learn it the simpler way. Leave it off if you want to learn it selecting way, because hey, in the end, I have to select everything. So might as well do it for this too. And it gives you more flexibility in other things that are so advanced that I can't show you yet to do it this way. But when you get to that advancement layer, you wish you would have gotten accustomed to this. That said, I will always be saying out loud, okay, select layer, green, or select the cloud. So I always remind you to select the layer. So while you're in class, I'll remind you to do that. But you'll have to remember on your own that if you choose to have it off, you'll have to remember that if you're trying to move purple and for some reason purple doesn't move, you'll have to remember that it's because you have to go here and click purple. At some point, this will become second nature to you. If you have this on, that will never become second nature to you. So then what'll have to become second nature to you is that when you click on another tool, right, you're always going to have to know to choose the layer. That's all. All right, guys, I'm stopping my share. Class is, oh, I went past by 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
should have 12:45. I should have closed off. I'm sorry if I stayed here longer. Everyone is welcome to leave. Let me just help Clark back out of VDI. Everyone else, nothing that we did needs to be saved. So you can just close everything and not save it and open them up and play around with stuff during the week for some of these things that we learned. We're going to start to actually make things happen to our photos for real next class. All right. I'm just going to share my VDI again with Clark because backing out of VDI is going to take a few extra steps. So, Clark, let's close these files. I'm going to first close each file by clicking on this little X right there. And do you want to save changes? We're going to say nope. And then I'm going to click on this one. And do you want to save changes? Like, nope, we're not saving anything. And then to close Photoshop in VDI, you have to go over to this little X right there. And that closes the program. And that same thing to close Bridge. Wait, top right arrow. Okay. Once you're here, I'll show you what next to do. So Clark, tell me when you're here.
I am on the thing that says Open Creative Cloud Desktop App. Oh, yeah, that must be just it.
Did you close your applications?
Yeah. Okay, I'm on the window thing now.
Okay, now this is the part that's not intuitive. So follow my steps.
Okay.
Go down here to this little arrow. Right where you see this black line, you'll see the final thing is like a little arrow. Click on that. And then click
I'm
on
not
this.
seeing that. I'm so sorry. I'm not seeing that.
That's okay. Bottom right of my black area, right? The bottom of my,
Black area.
down here, my taskbar.
Yeah, I better share my screen again.
Okay, let me stop my share and you can share your screen. Okay, so in VDI, yeah, you have moved your window down so you can't see it. So move, there it is. So now go down to where it has your name, user, Sayer, and there's that little arrow that I was talking about.
This?
That one, yeah. So you had moved your thing down and that's why you couldn't see it. So click on that. Now you'll see the little Google icon on the right side of that little box. That little menu, nope, one up to the right, the middle right, that's the little Google one, click on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Now go up to the gears. And now click preferences. Now go up to the gears again, just say no thanks to this thing down at the bottom. Go up to the gears again. And now say disconnect account. Right there, perfect. Yep, disconnect.
So am I gonna have to remember that all the time?
No, because you're not going to use VDI, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay,
This
now
whole
stay where
thing
you
is-
are. Yes, stay where you are.
Okay, sorry.
I need to get you to back out correctly and then we can talk. Back down all the way to the bottom to the little Windows icon on the left side. And there we go. Click on that. And go, the first little thing is like a power off, that little circle. Click on that, power off. Nope, nope, down, 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 right next to where you are.
That one, okay.
That little one, click on power. Then go and say shut down, 2 up. Nope, click on power again, click on power again. And move up there, shut down. Cool, now wait, you're not done, say close.
Press that one.
Yeah, and now you have one last thing, which is the very top part of this column says horizon, you see that? Top left of this, okay.
Uh-huh.
Now go far to the right and there's a little icon with little lines, that one, click on that one. And now go to log out. And now say, okay, and you're done with VDI. All right,
Oh,
so if you're gonna want your applications to be ready by Monday, it won't, if you're gonna buy it now. So on Monday, you're gonna have to use VDI again, okay?
Oh, dang.
because they won't be ready on Monday. Yeah, I warned
Okay.
everyone on Monday to start
Yeah.
purchasing it. And if
Okay.
you're lucky, it'll be ready by next Friday, okay?
Okay.
So do it now so that
Okay.
it's ready by next Friday, but
Yep.
it won't be ready for Monday, I assure you.
Definitely.
All right?
Sorry for all the questions. I thought that like it was
No, no.
going to be all beginners, but
No, 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 no,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
worry. Don't worry. That's why I make everyone do a show of hands, so everyone understands that. The people who are here repeatedly know that they have taken my class and that each time they take it, they learn something new. They are fine. They understand that many of the students are beginners. So
Yeah.
they're not the impatient ones. It's the new beginners who feel bad about the
Yeah.
others. But they
Yeah.
were beginners too, and they know exactly what's happening and they are totally good with it because that's why they are here again. They understand that. Okay.
Yeah, and
So
I'm
don't
gonna
worry.
experiment. I'm gonna experiment over the weekend too.
Great.
with my own.
That's
so,
fine. Don't feel bad at all.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is if at some point you go, oh, these people know too much, that would be the wrong thought, because if you do that, then you'll never know enough to be the people who know, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
You'll see in a couple of weeks, you'll be like, oh, okay. But the first time you see a program, it's intimidating and it's different. And today, all I did was kind of give you the little walk around tour, right? But we
Mhm.
haven't done anything. Once we start doing things with it, it'll get more comfortable. All right.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you for
Okay.
your patience. I really appreciate that, and
You're
for
welcome.
being really clear too. So,
All right. You're welcome.
all right,
Take
thank
care
you.
then. See you next week
Okay.
or next Monday.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.